Chapter 407. Yan Huang went to collect information related to the Kongli continent and returned to his personal space in less than 2 hours with a faint joy on his face. Sir, we have the latest news. The Heaven Attacking Alliance seems to have increased the reward. Although the Dao runes are still only 180, they are willing to take out 1,000 high-grade dust cleansing stones as an additional reward. Dust cleansing stones? 1,000 high-grade dust cleansing stones. It's exactly 1,000. 1,000 high-grade dust cleansing stones. Xing Hui's eyes lit up slightly. Dust cleansing stones were the same as other ores and spirit stones. They had 3 grades: ordinary, high-grade, and peerless. Among them, the ordinary dust cleansing stones had a Dao rune of 100 cubes. High-grade dust cleansing stones were even more expensive. 10 cubes were equivalent to 1 Dao rune. As for peerless dust cleansing stones, the price reached an astonishing 1 Dao rune per cube. Of course, this was the price that Heaven Dao sold to the outside world. After all, they monopolized the dust cleansing stone market. If ordinary people wanted to buy from them, they would naturally have to follow their price. However, according to this price, there would still be people buying from time to time. 1,000 high-grade dust cleansing stones. The price of 50 to 60 Dao runes could definitely be sold in the black market. 180 Dao runes, plus 50 to 60 Dao runes. The total reward would reach 240 Dao runes. Xing Hui, who originally intended to take this commission to make Heaven Dao unhappy, immediately said without hesitation, "Contact this person for me." Yes. Yan Huang was startled and immediately agreed. He quickly went to contact the person. This dust cleansing stone is a hot commodity. The Heavenly Dao monopolizes the market for dust cleansing stones and is very strict with the unrecorded sales of dust cleansing stones. Thus, dust cleansing stones are often only traded and sold in the black market. My incarnation technique can barely be used to intimidate those regular merchants, but if I go to the black market and face those audacious cultivators who want to rob me, my weak nature will immediately be exposed. Thus, if the dust cleansing stone really wants to make a move, I'm afraid I'll have to rely on the channels of the Heavenly Dao. Xing Hui calculated in his heart. However, he had not obtained the 1,000 high-grade dust cleansing stones yet. He was not in a hurry for the time being. Everything had to wait until he understood the situation of the Kongli continent before making a decision. Buzz. Just as Xing Hui was pondering, a figure suddenly appeared in his personal space. Seeing this figure, Xing Hui was surprised. Tianwan? He still had some matters to discuss with Tianwan. Your Excellency Pak Hui. Heaven's Inquisition was a little surprised to see Xing Hui, but he quickly bowed. Congratulations, Your Excellency Pak Hui is safe and sound. Why do you say that? We also have some part-timers in the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. They sold us some strange information, but now it seems that this information is obviously fake. A part-time member of the Create Evolve Mystical sect. Xing Hui immediately guessed what information Heaven's Inquisition was talking about. Did he tell you that I was killed by the Create Evolve Mysterious sect? Your Excellency White Ruins is right, but I don't really believe his information. After all, according to our knowledge, Your Excellency White Ruins has already broken through to the true energy realm. Based on Your Excellency White Ruins' formidable battle strength that annihilated all the true energy realm and vision saint realm experts of Yellow Dragon sect not long ago, the Creation Profound sect might be able to defeat you, but it's still insufficient to kill you. It's not enough? Xing Hui shook his head. No, you're wrong. I was almost killed by the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. Heaven's Inquisition's expression suddenly turned serious. Could it be that there are still hidden experts in the Create Evolve Mysterious sect? Your Excellency Pak Hui, I wonder if you can sell this information to me? If the value of this information is high enough, I'm willing to pay you 2 Taoist rhymes. There aren't any hidden experts. As for the 2 Taoist rhymes, there's no need for that either. However, I can use this information to make a deal with the Mystery Pavilion. Your Excellency Pak Hui, please speak. Heaven's Inquisition said seriously. The Create Evolve Mysterious sect doesn't have the power to kill me. The one who really attacked me is a pinnacle almighty from the Heavenly Dao, one of the 36 Tao Masters, Black Heaven Tao Master. It's actually Black Heaven Tao Master? With the Create Evolve Mysterious Sex level, they shouldn't be able to invite a pinnacle almighty like Black Heaven Tao Master. Moreover, as far as I know, the Create Evolve Mysterious Sex Superior is only an ordinary almighty from the Heavenly Tao. He hasn't reached the level of Black Heaven Tao Master. Heaven's Inquisition instantly frowned. You don't understand, and I don't understand this either. Furthermore, even if Black Heaven Tao Master really has a close relationship with the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect, and followed their request to send a clone to deal with me, logically speaking, it should only be a never-ending realm clone. After all, with Black Heaven Tao Master's strength, a never-ending realm clone is more than enough to deal with an ordinary Golden Core realm expert, let alone me, Cho Tsinghui. However, it just so happened that the Black Heaven's Daylord's incarnation had reached a shocking level of the Gold Core realm, to the extent that I didn't even have the qualifications to fight back before him, and was instantly killed. If it wasn't for the fact that I possessed a life-saving treasure bestowed upon me by a senior, I would have probably died there. Golden Core realm? Black Heaven Tao Master actually mobilized a huge force to send a Golden Core realm clone. Heaven's Inquisition was shocked, and his face was filled with disbelief. Which person or force in the entire Eastern Wilderness is worthy of Black Heaven Tao Master mobilizing a huge force to send a Golden Core realm clone to deal with them? This is the reason why I don't understand. What is the relationship between the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect and the Dark Sky Tao Lord? Or did the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect discover some incredible treasure? So the Dark Sky Tao Lord did not hesitate to send a Golden Core realm incarnation to protect it? In short, there are many suspicious points in this matter. What I need you to do is to investigate why Create Evolve Mysterious Sect is so favored by Black Heaven Tao Master. Heaven's Inquisition nodded solemnly. I understand. I will report this information to the higher-ups and let the higher-ups mobilize the part-time staff in Create Evolve Mysterious Sect, and even the official members to investigate. If there is a result, I will let you know. Thank you very much. Tsinghui nodded and asked after a while. You didn't come here just to confirm whether I'm dead or not, right? That's only one of the reasons. I have good news in my hands. I wonder if Your Excellency Pak Hui is interested? Oh, tell me about it. I wonder if Your Excellency Pak Hui has heard of the Dust Cleansing Stone? Dust Cleansing Stone. Tsinghui glanced at Heaven's Inquisition and quickly thought of something. He said indifferently, Your Excellency Heaven's Inquisition should be referring to Lin Qin, a core member of the Heaven Crusading Alliance of the Kongli continent. It seems that Your Excellency Pak Hui has also seen this commission. Heaven's Inquisition was not surprised. This commission was one of the most expensive in the Chaos Divine Palace, so it was reasonable for Tsinghui to know about it. In fact, the Heaven Crusading Alliance offered 180 Tao rhythms to seek help from others to overthrow the Heavenwell Palace. This matter has aroused our general curiosity. You should know that the Kongli continent is not rich in Tao rhythms. Even if there is, it has been completely cleaned out by the Almighty of the Heaven Tao. After a few hundred years, it might be possible to unearth a few dozen Tao rhythms, but 180 Tao rhythms is simply an extravagant hope. Therefore, we specially went to investigate the source of these Tao rhythms. In the end, we made an interesting discovery. Does Your Excellency Pak Hui want to hear it? 2 Tao rhythms is enough. Jing Su frowned. He only had 4 points of Taoist presence left on him. Speak. Right away. But according to the rules, Your Excellency Pak Hui, please sign this transaction contract. Heaven's Inquisition smiled as he took out a contract that he had prepared beforehand. Tsinghui glanced at it and signed his name. After completing the contract, Tian Wen's smile became even brighter. According to our investigation, the reason why the Heaven Hunting Alliance was able to take out 180 Taoist rhymes at once is because they found a small dust stone mine. This mine was unearthed due to the earth shaking, and it produced tens of thousands of dust stone mine. Of course, this mine was already occupied by the Heavenwell Palace, but because the Heaven Hunting Alliance obtained more than 30,000 dust stone mine from this mine, they were able to sell it for more than 100 Taoist rhymes. Because of this, They were able to offer such a large sum of money to experts in an attempt to find someone to help them overthrow the Heavenwell Palace's rule and liberate the Kongli continent. More than 30,000 cubes of dust cleansing stones were only sold for more than 100 Dao rhymes. Xinghui felt a little strange. Naturally, it was greatly suppressed by the traders. The Heaven Crusading Alliance had no choice but to sell it. Then your information is, according to the Heavenswell Palace's dust-repellent stone mine, the quality of the mine is not bad. The Heaven Alliance has excavated more than 30,000 ordinary dust-repellent stones, but there should be more than 2,000 ordinary dust-repellent stones among the ordinary dust-repellent stones. In addition, there should be more than 100 supreme dust-repellent stones. In other words, the Heaven Alliance should have 300 Dao ripples worth of materials in addition to 180 Dao ripples. Heaven's Inquisition quickly added, 300 Dao rhythms is obviously a high price, but there should be 150 to 180 Dao rhythms. 150 to 180 Dao rhythms worth of resources. In addition to the 180 Dao rhythms worth of resources they have a business deal worth over 300 Dao rhythms. The Heaven's Secrets Pavilion really knows how to do business. I'm afraid you'll sell this information to any faction that shows interest in the Kongli continent. Heaven's Inquisition said modestly, sorry, this is how the Heaven's Secrets Pavilion survives. If we don't do this, how can we afford to keep so many spies? I understand. Within half a year, I'll place the 2 Dao rhythms worth of resources at the designated location. Then I wish us a happy cooperation. Heaven's Inquisition smiled and took out a jade talisman. This is a piece of information given to me as a friendly gift when we were both members of the Eastern Wilderness. It contains the general information of the Heavenswell Palace's higher-ups. It's free. Qingsu did not hold back when he saw this and accepted it directly. Heaven's Inquisition bade farewell and left quickly. Xinghui flipped through the jade talisman Heaven's Inquisition took out. After all, the Heavenswell Palace was a faction left behind by the Heavenswell Palace. If there were any old monsters hiding there, he might fail miserably. It was better to be careful. Chapter 408. As Xinghui flipped through the information, his heart gradually calmed down. There was no discrepancy between the information and the heaven-punishing alliances. There were indeed only 6 true energy realm experts guarding the Heavenswell Palace. In addition, there were 4 prominent divine realm experts and more than a dozen green netherworld realm experts. On the Kongli continent, many almighties from the heavenly Dao, divine wilderness, and eternal realm had once engaged in a large-scale battle there, shattering the earth veins of the Kongli continent, causing the yuan qi of the Kongli continent to become unprecedentedly scarce. Currently, without the help of external forces, it was difficult for cultivators to reach the green netherworld realm, let alone the prominent divine realm. After the almighties from the heavenly Dao left, they had originally sent some golden core realm experts to guard the place. However, due to the lack of yuan qi, these golden core and endless realm experts actually showed signs of regression. In addition, most of the dust-repelling stones had been dug up, so these cultivators were naturally unwilling to stay on the Kongli continent any longer. Currently, of the 6 true energy realm experts stationed here, 2 were local experts, while the other 4 were unlucky people who had been ostracized by their sections. They were all mediocre people. While Xinghui was flipping through the information on the Heavenswell Palace, Yan Huang and a woman with a black veil appeared in this personal space. As soon as they arrived in the personal space, Yan Huang immediately introduced Qingsu. Sir, this is the representative Lin Qin left in the Chaos Divine Hall. As Lin Qin has been targeted by the people of the Heavenly Dao after she released the information, she no longer dares to expose her mental imprint so easily, so she's not in the Chaos Divine Hall. If we want to accept the request, we need to talk to this Lady Lin Jing first. Lin Jing. Xinghui's gaze fell on the woman wearing the black veil. I'm willing to accept your commission. Regardless of the method, you will see the destruction of the Heavenswell Palace within half a year. Half a year? Lin Jing was slightly stunned. My lord, why do you say within half a year? The Almighty behind me will use a special method to send someone to the Kongli continent, and let him be responsible for destroying the Heavens Will Palace. Or will the Almighty behind me send an avatar to the continent next to the Kongli continent? You don't need to ask anything else. You just need to see the destruction of the Heavens Will Palace. Then, Lin Jing hesitated for a moment. Sir, because our heaven-punishing alliance has been hit hard recently, we can't give you a deposit in advance to ensure your safety. Can't give a deposit? If I destroy the Heavens Will Palace, how am I supposed to get my due reward? Well, in order to make it easier for us to complete the mission, we have slightly modified the details of the mission. This mission will no longer be carried out as a whole, but will be divided into individual missions. There are 6 demon kings and 4 demon commanders in the Heavens Will Palace. Every time the 6 demon kings kill someone, record their image, or take their head, our Heaven Attacking Alliance will give them a Dao-carrying object with 30 Dao rhythms and 100 upper-grade dust-leaving stones. The lives of the 4 demon commanders will be worth 100 upper-grade dust-leaving stones. 6 great demon kings and 4 great demon marshals? Are you referring to the 6 true energy boundary cultivators and the 4 prominent divine boundary cultivators? Xing Hui nodded. Sure. My lord, you agree? That's great. I'll make preparations now. When the time comes, I'll contribute my spiritual imprint to you and wait for your arrival. Qing Su frowned when he heard that. He made some preparations. Was she worried that he was a member of the Heaven's Will and would send a main battle clone to destroy them? Sure, but you'd better choose a place with a lot of people. Xing Hui responded expressionlessly. They waited for a total of 5 days. During these 5 days, Xing Hui's main body didn't go to the Hunyuan heaven sect. Instead, he chose to return to the ocean. Such a powerful almighty figure had suddenly appeared in the creation mystical sect, and this scene made him feel slightly uneasy. Once the creation mystical sect found out that he was still alive, who knew if the creation mystical sect would invite another almighty figure to send down a prime combat clone to hunt him down? There was no need for a golden core realm cultivator, as a Daelord's never-ending realm avatar would be enough to defeat him. Under such circumstances, it was better for him to keep a low profile and return to his home ground in the ocean, with the sacred beast Xuanwu overseeing the ocean. As long as Xuanwu was alert, not to mention the true energy boundary and transcendent realm experts of the creation mystical sect, even never-ending realm and golden core realm experts would be immediately detected if they approached the ocean region where Xuanwu was. As one of the 6 divine saints, it definitely had the ability to do so in the ocean. Moreover, he planned to use the incarnation technique to accept the commission and obtain the benefits worth more than 300 Daoist rhymes. During this period, he didn't have much time to wander around. In order to ensure efficiency, he was very likely to inject the Son of Chaos power in his main body into the body occupied by the incarnation technique. This way, his main body would be in a very dangerous situation. It was always right to be as cautious as possible. It's been 5 days and the creation mystical sect still hasn't sent the spiritual imprint over. It seems that the creation mystical sect encountered the danger of an almighty directly sending a main battle clone to kill them in the name of accepting the commission. That's why they're so careful about a spiritual imprint. Xing Hui lamented for less than an hour. Lin Jing, whom he had met once before, finally appeared in his personal space. Greetings, my lord. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. As soon as Lin Jing appeared, she hurriedly apologized to Xing Hui. Considering the uniqueness of his incarnation technique, Xing Hui pretended to be unhappy and said unhappily, "All right, give me your spiritual imprint as soon as possible. You have to know that I'm actually just doing something for the Almighty behind me. You've delayed for 5 days because of a small spiritual imprint. I don't know if the Almighty behind me is dissatisfied with this and is still willing to send a person to help you complete this commission. I'm really sorry, my lord. Please put in a good word for us in front of that senior. Our creation mystical sect really needs that senior's help to help us overthrow the Heavens Will Palace. I'll try my best to talk to you, but I can't guarantee that it'll work." Xing Hui said unhappily. "I'll leave everything to you, my lord." Lin Jing bowed deeply and offered her spiritual imprint. "All right, I'll explain it to that lord," Xing Hui said and quickly left the open space. I hope they have the right person for the location they choose. Xing Hui muttered to himself. However, just as he was about to use the incarnation technique, he seemed to have thought of something. The backtrack technique can rewind a person's spiritual state to the moment when the backtrack technique was used. I wonder if this technique can avoid the weakening effect of the incarnation technique? Now that a month had passed, the backtrack technique had cooled down. Xing Hui, who was eager to understand the various uses of the backtrack technique, quickly put his plan into action and activated the backtrack technique in one fell swoop. It's really amazing. Xing Hui could not help but sigh as he felt his extremely keen sense of time. The next moment he activated the incarnation technique. Suddenly, his consciousness seemed to have left his body and rapidly shuttled through the void. In an instant he crossed tens of millions of miles of space and was projected onto a new continent, Dragon Tooth City. It was a famous city in the Cloud Sky Kingdom of the Kongli continent. At this moment, in the bedroom of a courtyard in this city that was even more luxurious than the city lord's mansion, a middle-aged man with a bandage on his head slowly woke up. There was a trace of unnaturalness in his eyes. I almost failed at the last hurdle, the middle-aged man muttered to himself. Then, as if he was not used to this voice, he coughed slightly. Master? Master! Master is awake! Master is awake! Soon, the surprised cries of the maidservants could be heard in the room. Then there was a flurry of people coming and going at the door. Not long after, more than a dozen people had entered the room. Master, you're finally awake. I told you, Master. Heaven helps the worthy. You'll definitely be fine. That quack also said that Master's head was severely injured, and that you'll be paralyzed from now on. Even if you can wake up, you'll be muddle-headed and delirious. Now that I think about it, it sounds like nonsense. I'll have the servants smash his shop tomorrow. More than a dozen people in the room were chattering, making the middle-aged man dizzy. He shouted in a deep voice, "Stop arguing, all of you get out. Don't disturb my rest." The middle-aged man seemed to be very dignified in the house. After being shouted at by him, the dozen people all kept quiet out of fear. After a while they all said, "Yes, yes, yes. Master, rest well. Get well soon. Master, your health is more important. Master, if you have any orders, just say the word. We'll wait outside." After saying that, everyone left one by one. The room quickly quieted down. However, outside the door, there were still many people coming and going. Whether they were flattering or trying to curry favor, they were obviously paying attention to the movements in the room at all times, trying to find an opportunity to perform well in front of this middle-aged man to show their loyalty. I didn't expect this adventure to succeed. The middle-aged man, it should be Qing Su right now. His expression was rather strange. Clearly, he was rather curious about how he had managed to transform into this middle-aged man successfully this time. Lin Jing did as he said, choosing a place with a lot of people. It was a manor outside the city. Unfortunately, there wasn't anyone suitable to transform into in that manor, or even in the surrounding 100 kilometers. Although his spiritual power had increased, he could only maintain a fugue state for a stick of incense's time. Seeing that there was no suitable candidate, and that this middle-aged man seemed to have suffered a severe head injury and his mind was impaired, he could only impatiently enter the middle-aged man's body and use him as a vessel. Fortunately, he succeeded. The Tier 5 transfiguration allowed him to reincarnate into the body of an adult who was mentally handicapped due to postnatal reasons. Chapter 409. Xing Hui carefully sensed the middle-aged man's consciousness in his spiritual world. The middle-aged man's consciousness had been severed from his body due to the severe injury to his head. Without the replenishment of energy from his body, his consciousness was on the verge of dissipating. Xing Hui muttered to himself for a moment, and quickly withdrew the consciousness. However, even with that being the case, the consciousness was still fragmented and incomplete. Qing Su estimated that even if he gave the body to the consciousness, he would still end up like what the doctor had said. He would remain in a daze like a vegetable, neither alive nor dead. It seems to be more serious than the one on the Chongzhen continent. A strand of primordial spirit aura might not be able to repair it. Xing Hui sensed it and felt regretful. He only had 4 strands of primordial spirit aura left in his body. If he wanted to repair this consciousness, he would have to spend at least 3 strands. Such a large investment had already exceeded his expectations. Xing Hui immediately put this broken consciousness aside. At the same time, with a thought, the Son of Chaos interface that belonged to his main body was immediately added to this body. For a moment, the wound on his head healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a few breaths, his injuries were completely healed. Not only that, but because he was old, many of the hidden ailments on his body were quickly reversed under the effect of the 10th order recovery ability. His body, which had originally felt heavy, had become refreshed in the time it took for a stick of incense to burn. Very good. Xing Hui moved his body slightly. With this, he immediately sensed that he actually had a cultivation base in his body. Although it was not strong, it had reached the blood transformation realm, which belonged to the peak of the mortal realm. He only needed to take one more step forward to be able to awaken and enter a whole new world of the 6th level of immortality. My original plan was to use this body and spend some resources to raise it to the green netherworld realm, or even the prominent divine realm. Then, I would return this body to the original consciousness and let it control the dust cleansing stone mine on this continent. But now this body's consciousness is broken. Once I leave, it will immediately return to its original state. It will not be easy to support it. Xing Hui was somewhat hesitant. However, this hesitation only lasted for a moment before it was thrown to the back of his mind. Even if he invested a few dozen, or even a few hundred Taoist rhymes in this body, as long as he could complete the mission of the Heaven Punishment Alliance, he would be able to recoup his investment. I've prepared quite a bit of the Golden Crow's blood, as well as the Flame Destruction pill, which is slightly inferior to the Sunfall pill. In Xing Hui's mind, the cultivation method of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique flashed across his mind. Immediately after, the qi and blood in his body began to boil rapidly. The divine soul of the Golden Crow in his body formed a partial projection and directly condensed into the divine soul of the Golden Crow in this body. Once the Golden Crow divine soul was formed, an endless stream of energy began to transform this body, causing it to grow stronger and stronger. The transformation process naturally required the support of energy. At that moment, Xing Hui refined a drop of the Golden Crow's blood. With the replenishment of the Golden Crow's blood, his entire body began to transform internally and externally. In less than an hour, his body had been strengthened to the extreme, and his true qi was naturally derived. Once the true qi was formed, it would be classified as a divine-grade true qi. After condensing the divine-grade true qi, Xing Hui was like a hot knife through butter as he continued to push this body's cultivation. When the power of the first drop of Golden Crow's blood was completely exhausted, his true qi cultivation had already reached the middle stage of the true qi realm. Xing Hui did not hesitate, and took out the second drop of Golden Crow's blood and refined it. 4 hours later, his cultivation had been pushed to the spirit refining realm. Then another drop of Golden Crow's blood. When the next day's sun pierced through the curtain of night and illuminated the world, Xing Hui had already refined 2 sets of 20 drops of Golden Crow's blood. His cultivation had also risen to the peak of the Spirit Qi Unity realm in one go. If it was not because he was worried that breaking through to the Qingming realm would cause too much of a commotion, and that it would be inconvenient to cultivate in such a city, he would have already stepped into the Qingming realm. Heaven's Will Palace, an organization supported by the Heavens, a pity, it will be destroyed soon. Xing Hui squinted his eyes. A cold glint could be seen in the depths of his eyes. As Xing Hui pushed open the door and stepped out of the room, the guards and servants who were looking in his direction from time to time suddenly became alert, and quickly came forward to welcome him. "Master, you've gotten up? This little one will go and prepare a bath for you. Congratulations, Master. You've survived this great disaster and will definitely have good fortune in the future. Master, Second Miss received news that you were attacked, and is currently rushing over from the Heavens Will Palace in the Cloud Sky Country. She also brought Precious Dawn to help Master recover sooner." The servants and the captain of the guards came forward again, and greeted Xing Hui, who looked like a middle-aged man. Heavens Will Palace in the Cloud Sky Country. Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat, but his expression did not change. He rubbed his head bitterly and said, "My mind is still not clear. Tell me, what happened and why am I suddenly lying here?" The captain of the guards was slightly startled, but then he bowed and said, "Master, did you forget that you were attacked by the rebels of the Heaven Attacking Alliance 3 days ago? Your 4 personal guards were all killed, and you were seriously injured and fainted. If Master Hunyuan was not nearby, I'm afraid you would have been in danger." Speaking of this, he seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly said, "This is most likely the Heaven Attacking Alliance's revenge against the third miss for encircling the rebels of the Heaven Attacking Alliance half a month ago. These rebels of the Heaven Attacking Alliance are getting more and more arrogant. They actually dared to openly attack a great noble of the Cloud Sky Kingdom, an outer court elder appointed by the Heavens Will Palace." Outer court elder? Xing Hui did not expect that he would have such an identity in the Heavens Will Palace. This surprised him. "Okay, from now on collect information about the Heaven Attacking Alliance. Since they dared to attack me, I will definitely make them pay the price." Xing Hui waved his hand. "Master, don't worry. The first miss, second miss, and third miss will not let those rebels go," the captain of the guards said with a smile. He did not take Xing Hui's fierce words to heart. Xing Hui returned to his room and directly used the wandering spirit control technique to wander around the courtyard. He learned the identity of the person he was occupying from the words of the servants. Su Fei himself did not have much ability, but he had 4 good daughters, and each of them was more outstanding than the other. The eldest daughter, Su Ying, married the son of a grand elder of the Heavens Will Palace in the heavenly cloud country, giving the Su family a good start. The second daughter, Su Ying, was brimming with talent. Relying on the resources given by her elder sister, she was able to cultivate to the spirit refining realm before the age of 30. Moreover, her cultivation was of the saint grade. As for the third daughter, Su Qiubai, she was even more outstanding. Not only did she awaken the divine grade Kuan Peng bloodline and cultivate divine grade True Qi, but the son of a vice palace master of the Heavens Will Palace loved her to death. He gave her many resources and divine weapons. As for the fourth daughter, Su Yuyu, although she was not as dazzling as the second daughter, Su Ying, and the third daughter, Su Qiubai, she had already shown her talent by cultivating divine grade True Qi. One must know that due to the destruction of the earth veins of the Kongli continent, the level of the heaven and earth's Yuan Qi here was even worse than the Fortune continent, let alone the eastern wasteland. Even the Golden Core Realm cultivators who were known for their flawless cultivation would regress here. Even the Never-Ending Realm cultivators were getting weaker by the day. Even the 6 True Element Realm cultivators were relying on medicinal pills to maintain their cultivation. From this, one could see how scarce the Yuan Qi here was. Under such circumstances, cultivating to the spirit refining realm before the age of 30 was comparable to cultivating to the green netherworld realm before the age of 30. Their talent is not bad. If they have enough resources to support them, the Spirit Qi Unity realm and the green netherworld realm would only be a matter of time for them. Just like Nalan Fei in the past. If not for Xing Hui's endless resources, Nalan Fei might not have been able to step into the green netherworld realm before the age of 50. Xing Hui thought that if these 4 girls were filial enough to this so-called father of his, he could try to nurture them into the future representatives of the Kongli continent. In short, even if he had to return the Kongli continent to the native cultivators, he would still destroy the heavenly Dao's rule over the Kongli continent. Very good. The backtrack technique can indeed make up for the weakness caused by the incarnation technique. With the backtrack technique, I can do my best to send down a main battle incarnation every month. I don't have to worry about the terrifying consequences of the incarnation technique. One day later, Xing Hui sensed that his body had recovered to its peak condition and smiled. As expected of a characteristic derived from the 40th order of the primal chaos realm. It was indeed extraordinary. After understanding the wonders of the backtrack technique, Xing Hui focused his attention on the Kongli continent. In this day, he had a rough understanding of the Kongli continent, the Heavens Will Palace, and the Heaven Attacking Alliance. The Kongli continent was not small compared to the infinite wasteland domain. However, 600 years ago, the heavenly Tao, the divine wasteland, the eternal wasteland, and even the supreme giants of the divine realm fought on this continent, causing the earth veins of the entire continent to crack and sink into the sea. In the past 600 years, the entire continent had been submerged by the sea intermittently, causing the entire continent to shrink by a third. Although the continent's main plate was only 20,000 kilometers long and 10,000 kilometers wide, there were many large islands with diameters of thousands of kilometers around it. If these territories were included, the continent's surface area would not be inferior to half of the eastern wasteland. Because many of the islands were blocked by the sea, the Heavenswell Palace could not manage them, allowing the Heaven-attacking alliance to have some space to live. In addition, the Heavenswell Palace had gradually declined over the years. Apart from the 6 true energy realm experts, there were only 4 prominent divine realm experts, a dozen blue underworld realm experts, and hundreds of spirit and chi uniting realm experts. Currently, the Heaven-attacking alliance had 1 principal and 2 vice principals, 3 prominent divine realm alliance leaders. There were many elders and grand elders in the spirit and chi uniting realm. Lin Qin was one of the core elders in the spirit and chi uniting realm. She was also one of the daughters of the alliance leader, Lin Zhutian. Chapter 410. A medium-sized continent that was not much inferior to the Eastern Wilderness has completely declined because of the war between the Heavenly Tao, the Divine Wilderness, and the Eternal Chaos. The earth veins have collapsed, and the vitality on this continent is constantly flowing away, and it is gradually sinking to the bottom of the sea. At this rate, the cultivation world of this continent will gradually die out in 1 or 2,000 years, or even 10,000 years. I'm afraid that it will not be able to produce a blue netherworld realm expert by then. As Tsinghui learned about the Kongli continent, he could not help but be shocked by the power possessed by the Heavenly Tao, the Eternal Chaos, and the Divine Wilderness. A continent with a diameter of tens of thousands of kilometers was actually shattered by these peak experts. It was terrifying just thinking about it. It must be known that even if Tsinghui used his Golden Crow divine body, which was extremely proficient in destruction, and controlled his own vital energy to slash out with the sword of the glorious sun, he could at most destroy a small island with a diameter of 20 kilometers. The shockwave would then spread out to hundreds of kilometers, which was still a long way from shattering a continent with a diameter of tens of thousands of kilometers. It seems that it is not accurate to judge the Heavenly Tao, the Divine Wilderness, and the Eternal Chaos through the eyes of the Heavenly Tao, the 3 sects, the 6 religions, and the 9 gates. Although the 1 hall, the 3 sects, the 6 religions, and the 9 gates are the top forces on Heaven Wasteland, the 3 sects, the 6 religions, and the 9 gates, but the Heavenly Tao, the Divine Wilderness, and the Eternal Chaos are clearly stronger than the Heavenly Tao, the Sword Will, the 6 religions, and the 9 gates, and they have the ability to wipe out the entire world. Doesn't that mean these 3 forces together can defeat the entire world? As Tsinghui analyzed, he could not help but be more wary of the Heavenly Tao. It seemed that he had to be more prepared for the war between the Heavenly Tao and the Heavenly Tao. Only if the Heavenly Tao defeated the Heavenly Tao, and had the advantage of being the son of chaos, could it possibly defeat the Heavenly Tao. If the Heavenly Tao was defeated in the war, even the various characteristics of being the son of chaos would be taken away. What awaited the Heavenly Dome was the inevitable crushing of the Heavenly Dome into dust. The Heavenly Tao. The second miss is back. The second miss is back. Just as Tsinghui was thinking of ways to weaken the Heavenly Tao, a series of cheers came from outside the courtyard. Afterwards, Qing Su heard the sound of a sword flying through the air. Very soon, a woman in a blue dress who seemed cold and beautiful descended. "Captain Pu, where is my father? How is his injury?" "Second miss, don't worry. Master has already recovered. It seems that he didn't suffer any injuries." The captain was the captain of the guards that Tsinghui had exchanged for. He was an awakening realm cultivator. In fact, the entire Su family had 6 awakening realm cultivators, and 1 true Qi realm cultivator. However, in the attack of the Heavenly Tao Alliance that night, the true Qi realm commander and the remaining 3 captains had all died in battle. However, it was thanks to their desperate protection that the Heavenly Tao Palace's elder, Pu Yuan, had arrived and saved Su Fei's life. During the conversation, the girl in the blue dress, Suing, had quickly arrived in the room. When she saw Tsinghui safe and sound, Suing let out a sigh of relief. "Father, it's great that you're fine. It's all third sister's fault for being reckless. She actually let a group of people escape when encircling the Heavenly Tao Alliance's stronghold. If she could have killed them all, you wouldn't have had to face such danger." Tsinghui looked at the 29-year-old woman in front of him. Due to her cultivation, she looked like she was in her 20s. He felt a little unnatural. He had lived 2 lives and had yet to get married. However, because of the incarnation technique, he even had a daughter. He felt that the way this woman addressed him was very strange. "Father, are you okay? I heard from the doctor that you seem to have injured your brain. Will there be any hidden dangers?" "No. This time, no matter what, I can't listen to you. Father, let's pack up and leave Dragon Tooth City. Let's move to the Heavenly Tao Palace. I've now become one of the top 10 true disciples of the Heavenly Tao Palace. Third sister has also grown up. With big sister's care, Father, as long as you go to the Heavenly Tao Palace, I guarantee that you won't have to worry about your own safety. At that time, we can boldly encircle the Heavenly Tao Alliance's people, make contributions, and obtain more resources from the Heavenly Tao Palace to reach a higher realm." Suing saw that Tsinghui did not speak, so she asked worriedly. "I'm fine." Tsinghui quickly adjusted his state of mind. Hearing that Suing said that he could go to the Heavenly Tao Palace, he wanted to investigate the situation, and then act according to the circumstances. He immediately said, "After the encounter a few days ago, I really feel that Dragon Tooth City is no longer safe. It's great that you can take me to the Heavenly Tao Palace." "Father, you agree? That's great. I thought you would say something like it's hard to leave your hometown. That's great. I'll send a message to Big Sister and let her arrange it." "Well, I'll leave this matter to you sisters," Tsinghui said, pondering over the words that a parent should say. He said meaningfully, "How are you sisters in the Heavenly Tao Palace? Did you encounter any difficulties?" Suing immediately looked at Qing Su in surprise when she heard that. "Looks like the attack this time has really woken you up. In the past, you've never asked about the matters of the Heavens Will Palace. In fact, sometimes, you'd even say things like supporting the Heavens Will Alliance to overthrow the Heavens Will Palace. In that case, we have to thank the Heavens Will Alliance for their attack. You've finally understood the evil and chaotic nature of this organization. That's all in the past. I now see their true colors." Tsinghui covered it up. "That's great. I'll ask the servants to start packing. We'll prepare to go to the Heavenly Tao Palace. Father, are you going to move to Big Sister's place or my place?" Big Sister is in the Cloud Sky Kingdom. She's in the branch of the Heavenly Tao Palace in the Cloud Sky Kingdom. I'm in the headquarters of the Heavenly Tao Palace in the Sky-bearing mountain range. The headquarters of the Heavenly Tao Palace in the Sky-bearing mountain range has the 33 layers of Heaven's Punishment formation, set up by the ancestors of the Heavenly Tao Palace. It's enough to ensure that you can sit back and relax. The Heavenly Tao Alliance's several large-scale rebellions were defeated by the 33 layers of Heaven's Punishment formation. However, there are relatively more rules there. I'm afraid that you won't be used to it. Let's go to the headquarters of the Heavenly Tao Palace in the Sky-bearing mountain range. Since we're going to the Heavenly Tao Palace, we'll go there in one step. I also have the same idea. Father, you should rest. I'll ask the servants to start packing. At the same time, I'll ask the Heavenly Tao Palace's battleship to come and greet us." A smile appeared on Su Ying's pretty face. She quickly asked the servants to get busy. The Su family was a big family, so it was not easy to pack up. Fortunately, the Heavenly Tao Palace's battleship also took some time to arrive at the Dragon Tooth City. After 3 days of packing, the Su family carried a series of big and small bags. They were only waiting to load the things onto the battleship to head to the Heavenly Tao Palace's headquarters. However, just as Tsinghui was about to board the battleship, a servant in charge of carrying the family's belongings passed by him. Although there was no movement, Tsinghui, who had sharp senses, sensed that there was something extra on him. When no one was paying attention, Su Fei took out this thing and quickly found a piece of paper that was made of a soluble material. "I'll bide my time and act according to the circumstances." Xinghui looked at the few words written on the paper. Holding the paper, he used the temperature in his hands to quickly melt the paper into a trace of water. It was as if his palms were sweating, and a playful smile appeared on his face. It seems that I've made the right choice in choosing the identity of Su Fei. Not only do my 4 daughters work for the Heavenly Dao Palace, but they also have a close relationship with the Heavenly Dao Palace. This is interesting. Father, come up quickly. The battleship is about to start. On the deck of the battleship, Su Ying, who looked quite valiant in a blue dress, shouted. Got it. Xinghui replied and boarded the battleship. Under the guidance of the servant, he came to the most luxurious and spacious room on the battleship. As the servants served a lot of tea and snacks, the battleship rose into the air in a rumbling sound and disappeared into the clouds. The Heavenly Dao Palace in the sky-bearing mountain range was not close to the Dragon Tooth City. During this time, Xinghui secretly observed his second daughter, Su Ying. This Su Ying, it seemed that she was not good at socializing, or perhaps she felt that there was no one on this battleship worth her effort to socialize with. She was devoted to cultivation, and could be called a cultivation maniac. However, perhaps because she was still young, she valued family and was very respectful to her father. At the very least, Qingsu had ordered her to do a few rather rude things over the past few days. Although she had tried to dissuade him, she still carried out his orders under his insistence. I can find a chance to cultivate her a little, Xinghui muttered to himself. With his eyesight, he could already see that Su Ying was talented and had a good foundation. It was just that her spirit was relatively weak. If she could have an environment like the Refining God Pavilion to polish her spirit, and with some resources, she would soon be able to break through to the spirit and Qi uniting realm. As for the green darkness realm above, as long as Xinghui was willing to spend resources, it would not be a problem to pile it up. However, before killing the 6 experts of the Heavenly Dao Palace, he could not act rashly. The battleship maintained a relatively slow speed as it shuttled through the void for a full 10 days. A huge mountain range finally appeared at the end of their vision. However, before Xinghui could see the Heavenly Dao Palace in the center of the mountain range clearly, a huge formation over 300 kilometers in diameter enveloped the periphery of the mountain range. The vast and mighty pressure emitted from the formation actually made him, an expert whose fighting strength was not inferior to the never-ending realm, feel somewhat apprehensive. This is 33-layered heavens formation. Father, this is the reason why the Heavenly Dao Palace is able to guard Kongli and make all the countries pay homage to it. Su Ying looked at Xinghui's somewhat shocked expression and explained with a faint smile. It is said that this formation was left behind by the experts who truly stood at the peak of the Heavenly Dao Palace hundreds of years ago. The number of so-called great experts who died in front of this formation was in the double digits. Although the power of this formation has declined greatly after hundreds of years, as long as the 6 venerables still have this formation in their hands, ordinary cultivators, even the transformative realm experts above the venerables, or even the never-ending realm experts, can be defeated in one blow. As long as this formation exists, no one can shake the rule of the Heavenly Dao Palace in this world. Chapter 411. Xinghui's expression turned cold as he looked at the giant array that covered more than 300 kilometers in front of him. The 33-layered Heavenly Punishment Array was obviously a super array left behind by the Heavenly Dao, the Eternal Realm, and the Divine Wilderness when they were competing for the ownership of the Kongli continent. The opponents of this array were not only ordinary almighties, but also peak almighties and invincible existences in the Divine Realm. After all, more than a dozen almighties had died in this battle, including peak almighties like the Thunder Punishment Taoist Master and the Black Heaven Taoist Master. It would be unreasonable to say that there were no invincible existences in the Divine Realm involved in such a fierce battle. In other words, this array could threaten, or even kill invincible existences in the Divine Realm at its peak. Even if no one had maintained such a terrifying array for hundreds of years, and the most precious thing that was used to suppress the array core had been taken away, its power was definitely not something ordinary cultivators could imagine. Even if someone told Xing Hui that the 6 true energy realm experts of the Heavens Will Palace were controlling such a terrifying giant array that could compete with Golden Core experts, he would still believe it. If I'm not wrong, the minimum requirement for this array's power is to be controlled by 6 true energy realm experts at the same time. If any one of the 6 true energy realm experts is missing, the array's power will be greatly reduced or even destroyed. No wonder the Heavens Will Alliance changed the reward. Anyone who can kill any one of the 6 true energy realm experts of the Heavens Will Palace will be rewarded with 30 Taoist rhymes and 100 high-grade dust cleansing stones. The Heavens Will Alliance has a good idea. Xing Hui snorted coldly in his heart. He could already conclude that the Heavens Will Alliance was not easy to deal with. Otherwise, they would not have concealed the existence of the 33-layered heavenly punishment array. There were dust cleansing stones that had not been excavated on the Kongli continent. The battle power of the incarnations of Almighties would be greatly affected. The closest continent to the Kongli continent was nearly 10 million kilometers away, so external threats would not be able to affect them. As long as they could expel the Heavens Will Palace, they could naturally occupy the entire Kongli continent, or even, as long as they could occupy the great formation of 33 layers of heavenly punishment. Even if the heavenly axiom wanted to mobilize the cultivators from the surrounding continents, it would still take several years to cross the sea and come here. They would not be able to do anything to them as long as they could rely on the might of the Great Formation. They only needed to face off for a period of time, and those cultivators who could not do anything to the Great Formation would naturally choose to leave. After all, the yuan qi on the Kongli continent was too thin. Even true energy realm experts had to rely on elixirs to maintain their cultivation. If Unending Realm and Golden Core realm experts were unwilling to leave the Kongli continent for too long, not only would they be unable to continue cultivating, they would also face the fate of regressing in their cultivation. In this world, even breaking through to the Qingming realm was a problem. Currently, the 2 true element realm cultivators that were born in this world were experts that were nurtured by the Almighty 300 years ago. The remaining prominent divine realm and Qingming realm cultivators were also born with the help of resources. Thus, Suing, a genius disciple who was able to cultivate to the spirit refining realm at such a young age, had a lot of weight in the Heavens Will Palace. The warship easily entered the Heavens Will Palace with her banner and finally stopped at a spaceport. Second sister, you're here? When the warship stopped, a youthful and beautiful girl filled with a lively aura came up to welcome them. Third sister, father is here too. Come and greet father. Suing showed a doting smile to the girl in front of her and quickly greeted her. Su Qiubai, who belonged to this body's third daughter, curled her lips and looked at Xing Hui. She said unwillingly, father. However, it was not difficult to see from her eyes that she did not like this father of hers. Third sister, how can you speak to father in such a tone? Suing was somewhat helpless towards her third sister. Father is finally willing to leave the Dragon Tooth City and stay in the Heavens Will Palace. Can't you sincerely welcome him? Welcome, welcome. Of course I welcome you, Su Qiubai said in a very perfunctory tone. In the end, she could not help but mock. This time, you finally know that you're playing with fire by colluding with those people from the Heavens Will Alliance? This time, the Heavens Will Alliance probably made some conditions that you can't agree to. You didn't complete them, and that's why the Heavens Will Alliance became angry. Or is this simply a trick you and the Heaven Punishing Alliance are putting on? Third sister, don't talk nonsense. What relationship does father have with the Heavens Will Alliance? Suing lowered her voice slightly and spoke to Su Qiubai sternly. Second sister, father is not young anymore. If you continue to allow him to mess around with the Heavens Will Alliance, it will only harm him in the end. When he was in the Dragon Tooth City, it was better. The mountain was high and the Emperor was far away. Even if there was something between him and the Heavens Will Palace, the Heavens Will Palace wouldn't be able to find him. However, now that he is going to stay in the Heavens Will Palace, if we don't make things clear to him, it will bring great trouble to our entire Su family. Suing felt that Su Qiubai's words were reasonable. In the end, she could only whisper to Xing Hui, Father, from now on, don't have any contact with the people of the Heavens Will Alliance. The Heavensville Palace is different from the Dragon Tooth City. There are many peak experts monitoring here. Once they find evidence of you colluding with the Heavensville Alliance, our entire Su family will face a disaster. Xinghui glanced at Su Ying and nodded. I know what to do. At this moment, a streak of light suddenly shot over from up ahead, landing on the square where the battleship was. Afterwards, several figures hurried over. The person at the front was a young man. He was handsome and dignified, and he was a true qi cultivator as well. After seeing Qing Su, he immediately went up and bowed. You must be Uncle Su Fei, right? I, Yang Yintian, salute you. Yang Yintian? Xinghui looked at the young man in front of him, and then glanced at the middle-aged man who came with him. The middle-aged man was half a step behind Yang Yintian. He was dressed like a guard, but what surprised Xinghui was that this person was in the Blue Netherworld realm. It should be known that it was almost impossible for the Blue Netherworld realm to be born in the environment of the Kongli continent. To break through to the Blue Netherworld realm, one must be extremely talented and be on the same level as Broken Sword and Yulan on Tianhuang continent, or be able to obtain an endless supply of resources. Looking at the middle-aged man's appearance, it was obvious that he did not belong to the former. He must have relied on resources from the outside world to achieve what he had today. If so, Yang Yintian's identity was definitely not simple. Wait a minute. Yang Yintian? Palace Master Yang Kaigui's. It's my father. Yang Yintian said with a smile. Immediately, Xinghui understood the young man's identity. He was the son of Yang Kaigui, the vice palace master who pursued Su Qiubai, and was completely infatuated with her. Yang Kaigui was also very impressive. He was the descendant of Yang Xiao, one of the two native true energy realm experts of the Heavensville Palace. Furthermore, he was close friends with the other true energy realm expert, Huang Fupeng. As for Huang Fupeng, his background was even more impressive. He was the descendant of a native female cultivator of the Kongli continent, who had a night with the Thunder Punishment Tao Lord. Unlike the four true energy realm experts who had been left behind by the heavenly Tao to await their deaths, Huang Fupeng, the descendant of the Thunder Punishment Tao Lord, was the only person who had the hope of leaving the Kongli continent to explore Tianhuang continent. Therefore, Huang Fupeng had a supreme position in the Heavensville Palace. Yang Yuntian's grandfather was Huang Fupeng's sworn brother, and was also the third generation of the top officials in the Heavensville Palace. So it's young Master Yang. Young Master Yang is indeed elegant and talented. A smile appeared on Xinghui's face. Perhaps he could find a way to control the 33 layers of heavenly punishment formation from Yang Yuntian. Once he could successfully control the 33 layers of heavenly punishment formation, he would not be afraid even if the heavenly Tao sent experts to try and take over the Kongli continent. Uncle flatters me. When I heard that Uncle planned to settle down in the Heavensville Palace of the sky-bearing mountain range, I immediately found a courtyard on the Heavensville peak of the Heavensville Palace for Uncle to live in. The peak of the Heavensville Palace is the core of the 33 layers of heavenly punishment formation. The 6 elders of the Heavensville Palace usually live in seclusion on the peak. When they control the formation to look down on the continent, they can also use the power of the formation to draw in large amounts of yuan qi from the surroundings. Cultivating near the peak of the mountain is 3 times faster than in ordinary places. Furthermore, because the yuan qi is much denser there, it is much easier to break through to a higher cultivation level there. How considerate of you to actually. Qing Su smiled. Just when he was about to praise Yang Yuntian and praise him for his wisdom, Su Qiubai could not help but say, Yang Yuntian, I appreciate your kindness, but only the elders of the sect can live in the courtyards near the top of the mountain. My father has no authority in the Heavensville Palace, nor has he made any contributions, so how can he live in a place like that? As a result, it's best if you take your courtyard back. I'll take my father to stay with me and second sister. Qiubai, you're in second sister's place. You should call her senior sister Su. Alright. Senior sister Su is senior sister Su. Although senior sister Su's place is a precious place, how can it compare to the courtyard I gave to Uncle in terms of spiritual qi? If you and senior sister Su had moved to that courtyard to cultivate earlier, your cultivation would probably have been 1 or 2 minor realms higher than it is now. Qiubai, why can't you understand my kindness? I don't need your kindness. Yang Yintian, do you think I don't know what kind of person you really are? Before Su Qiubai could finish speaking, she was severely interrupted by Tsing Hui. Third girl, how can you speak to nephew Yang like that? Gifting this courtyard to Yang Kai was nephew Yang's good intentions. Fellow disciples from the same sect often see each other, so how could he refuse again and again? Since that courtyard is also good for your cultivation, I'll make the decision. Thank you, nephew Yang. When the time comes, the two of you will also move to that courtyard. Understood? Father. Su Qiubai called out in dissatisfaction. Then it's decided. Tsing Hui waved his hand, not giving Su Qiubai a chance to refute. Turning to Yang Yintian, he cupped his fists and said with a smile, many thanks for nephew Yang's generous gift, allowing me to have a place to live. In the future, nephew Yang and our Su family will have to visit each other more often. Yang Yintian was overjoyed when he heard this. Of course. Our Yang family's courtyard is nearby, less than a kilometer away. When the time comes, I'll definitely pay you a visit. Haha. Then I'll be waiting for nephew Yang when the time comes. Chapter 412. Tsing Hui and Yang Yintian chatted happily. Under Su Ying's awkward gaze and Su Qiubai's displeased gaze, the group quickly arrived at a location around 4,000 meters away from the mountain peak. This mountain peak was the core of Heaven's Will Palace, and was around 10,000 meters tall. Naturally, the 6 true energy boundary experts of Heaven's Will Palace lived within 1,000 meters of the peak. No one from Heaven's Will Palace, including the elders, was allowed to disturb them during normal times. Below that was the residence of the prominent Divine Realm Palace Lords, as well as the Qingming Realm experts. The height of the residence was around 3,000 meters. Below that was the residence of the ordinary Qingming Realm, and the Spirit Qi Unity Realm experts. The lowest level was the residence of the Spirit Qi Unity Realm experts, and the Spirit Qi Unity Realm experts. As for the other cultivators, they did not have the qualifications to live in Heaven's Will Peak. For Tsing Hui and the rest to be able to live 4,000 meters away from the peak, it was already equivalent to the second level of Heaven's Will Peak. Only the heavens knew how much effort Yang Yintian had spent to obtain such a residence. Very good. This place is actually only 4,000 meters away from the core of Heaven's Will Palace. I can take some time to use the Spirit Wanderer Imperial Air technique to understand the layout of this 33 layers Heaven Punishment Formation. Once I understand how this formation works, I will be able to take control of this formation and occupy the Kongli continent. Tsing Hui stood in the middle of the courtyard and looked around. He was very satisfied with Yang Yintian's arrangement. Father, it's best if you don't interact with Yang Yintian. While Tsing Hui was sensing the location of the 6 true energy boundary experts, Su Ying came to Tsing Hui's side and advised softly. Although Yang Yintian has shown that he is willing to turn over a new leaf in order to pursue Third Sister, according to our understanding, Yang Yintian's reputation was extremely bad a few years ago. He relied on the fact that his father was the first Vice Palace Lord of Heaven's Will Palace to do many things that angered the heavens and caused the deaths of many people. Thus, we should keep a distance from him and reduce the time he interacts with Third Sister. Not only is it beneficial for Third Sister, even our Su family may be able to avoid some disasters. Oh, is there such a thing? I saw that Yang Yintian had a dignified appearance and had an extraordinary demeanor. I thought that he was a good match for the third girl. It seems that I was wrong. I will pay attention to him during this period of time. Tsing Hui said. Yes, father, it's good that you think this way. Your cultivation is still too weak. Even though we've specially brought you some precious resources for your cultivation these past few years to see if you can enter the awakening realm, it's a pity. Firstly, you're too old. Secondly, with your talent, it's much more difficult for you to enter the immortality realm compared to ordinary people. Unfortunately, there's not enough power in this world, and it's too dangerous. Therefore, during this period of time in the Heaven's Will Palace, you should focus on cultivating in seclusion as much as possible. Cultivation. Tsing Hui glanced at Su Ying, who was persuading him softly. Second girl, I'm actually not a weak person. I think the one who really needs to cultivate is you. You have the highest cultivation among the 4 sisters. If you can break through to the spirit and qi integration realm and become an elder of the Heavens Will Palace, Yang Yuntian will have to be careful even if he wants to do something to you. Spirit and qi integration realm. Suing shook her head. The most important thing in the spirit and qi integration realm is the spirit and qi integration realm. I have a good way to cultivate my qi and entered the spirit refining realm early on. However, even if I keep pushing myself to the limit, the growth of my God soul is still very slow. If I want to enter the spirit and qi integration realm in recent years, I need the help of Heavens Will Palace. And if I want to get the Heavens Will Palace's treasures, therefore I have to go out often to carry out missions. Carry out missions? Hunt down the members of the Heavens Will Alliance? I heard that the Heavens Will Alliance has been stirring up a storm in the Chaos Divine Palace recently. They've put out a bounty for many experts, and they want to kill the 6 great elders of the Heavens Will Palace. Father, you know about the Chaos Divine Palace? Suing looked at Xing Hui with a trace of surprise on her face. Could it be that you're also a son of chaos? Xing Hui smiled. Don't ask too much about this. In short, the Heavens Will Palace hasn't been very peaceful recently. It's best if you don't leave the area covered by the 33 layers of heavenly punishment formation as much as possible. I know that the Heavens Will Palace hasn't been very peaceful recently, but it's precisely because of this situation that I can seize the opportunity to make contributions. I can kill important members of the Heavens Will Palace to make contributions and exchange them for precious cultivation resources. I can fight for a good future for myself, 3rd sister, and 4th sister. Is there a need to work so hard? This is our duty. For us, eldest sister sacrificed her own happiness and endured the cold words of her family in exchange for precious cultivation resources for us 3 sisters. That's why we have such a good foundation today. Now that our cultivation has increased, eldest sister can no longer provide us with any help. As the 2nd sister, I naturally have to shoulder eldest sister's responsibility. I have to hold up the sky for this family and my 2 sisters. I have to create the best cultivation environment for them and give them good cultivation resources so that they can have a better future. When Suing said this, a gratified smile appeared on her usually cold face. Fortunately, I did it. 3rd sister's achievements are even higher than mine. I believe that our Su family's greatest hope is to be able to flourish in 3rd sister's hands. 3rd sister? At this time, Xing Hui realized that Su Qiubai had awakened the Kuan-Peng bloodline and had condensed divine genuine qi. Father, although 3rd sister is a little stubborn, she still respects you very much. She doesn't know that you have a relationship with the Heavens Will Alliance. It's not for yourself, it's for the so-called ideal. You're just a hypocrite in order to get more resources. It's because you risked your life when you were young that we were able to join the Heavens Will Palace. You, as a mortal, sheltered us from the wind and rain, and raised us until we were adults. Now it's time for us to repay you. Therefore, you should rest well in the Heavens Will Palace and take care of everything else. We have already grown up, and you don't need to take risks for us anymore. Qingsu looked at Suing. He could vaguely understand that Su Fei might have been colluding with the Heaven-Slaying Alliance for the sake of his daughters. As for the information on the slip of paper that the servant passed to him when he stepped onto the battleship, Xing Hui was too lazy to believe it. After all, if it weren't for him, Su Fei would have become a mentally disabled person. Even if it was a trick, he didn't need to make it real. In all likelihood, Su Fei thought that he could secretly infiltrate the Heavens Will Alliance to get secret information for his daughters, and then let them make contributions. However, in fact, the information was secretly released by the Heavens Will Alliance, and there was even some misleading information. A mission spy. However, it was not appropriate for him to ask this question. In the end, he could only pretend to be emotional. Yes, you have all grown up. 3rd sister is a person who can't keep secrets. Father, I can't tell her what you've done for her, but I will try to persuade her so that she won't quarrel with you. In addition, since you've come to the Heavens Will Palace, you should completely break off your relationship with the Heavens Will Alliance. What I said before was true. The sky-bearing mountain range is not the Dragon Tooth City. Once the fact that you've been in contact with the Heavens Will Alliance is discovered, the consequences will be unimaginable. Moreover, as I said before, we've all grown up, and you don't need to take risks for us anymore. I have my own plans. Alright, you don't need to deal with the matters here. You can go do your own things. Yes, Father, if you need anything, you can find me directly. By the way, since Father is also a son of chaos, we can contact you in the Chaos Temple in the future. Let's set a way to contact each other. Oh, we? Yes, third sister is also a son of chaos. My chaos level is level 2, and third sister is level 3. Level 2 and level 3 sons of chaos. When Xing Hui heard this, he couldn't help but be even more impressed by the innate talents of these two sisters. One had to know that even Nailan Fei, as a high-level son of chaos, couldn't compare to Su Ying and Su Qiubai's cultivation speed. If these two's chaos level were to reach Nailan Fei's level, heaven knew what kind of future they would have. Xing Hui, who had wanted to take in a disciple when he was in the Life Moon Alliance, looked at Su Ying with a slightly tempted gaze. Unfortunately, his identity wasn't easy to deal with. I'll try my best to stay in the Heavens Will Palace. If there's anything I need to discuss with the Chaos Temple, I have a personal space. In a while, I'll give you the Chaos Incantation to enter and leave it. Personal space? Father, you're actually wasting a precious chaos level on a personal space? Su Ying frowned. After a while she said, You've already raised the level of your personal space, so forget it. However, you mustn't waste such a precious opportunity in the future. You have to know that the most important thing for a person is comprehension. Placing the chaos level on comprehension, increasing it is the right way to go. I have my own plans for the path of a son of chaos, Xing Hui said and handed the incantation to Su Ying. In the future, if there's anything you need, just leave a message in my personal space. I'll see it. Oh, right, I'll leave the matter of giving the incantation to the third girl to you. I understand. Okay. Xing Hui nodded and returned to his room. After entering his room, the first thing he did was to project his consciousness into the Chaos Temple. He carved out a space in his personal space specifically for Su Ying and Su Qiubai to go back and forth. His personal space had reached the 8th level, spanning 100,000 kilometers. It could accommodate the entire Kongli continent. Naturally, it was easy to carve out a small space. After doing all that, Xing Hui's consciousness withdrew from the Chaos Temple. However, just as he was about to transfer his consciousness out of his body, he acutely sensed that there was something wrong with the consciousness that belonged to the original owner of this body, Su Fei. It seemed like it had grown stronger. Chapter 413. This is, noticing the abnormality in Su Fei's consciousness, Xing Hui quickly became serious. Up until now, he had yet to fully understand the mysteries of the Tier 5 doppelganger technique. In order to avoid any accidents, he had to nip all possible problems in the bud. Soon, Xing Hui began to carefully sense Su Fei's consciousness. Originally, Su Fei's consciousness was already broken, and even if it was forcefully condensed, it would still be muddle-headed. But now, while it was still muddle-headed, it had the ability to think. This ability to think came from Su Fei's body, and it seemed to contain a trace of Su Fei's memories. In addition, it also contained a trace of Xing Hui's consciousness. After sensing for half a day, Xing Hui quickly understood why Su Fei's broken consciousness was able to grow stronger. He actually absorbed the consciousness fluctuations in my spiritual world. A strange look flashed in Xing Hui's eyes. Su Fei's consciousness had grown stronger after absorbing his consciousness, and it had been branded with his consciousness. That form was like a baby that was like a blank sheet of paper that was being molded by an adult. If there was no external interference, how it would grow up in the future would be completely controlled by the consciousness of that adult. In other words, I can mold Su Fei's consciousness. Although some of the fixed worldviews can't be changed, I can fundamentally change his thoughts and reconstruct his memories and consciousness. This discovery surprised Xing Hui, and he was pleasantly surprised. Reconstructing Su Fei's memories from his consciousness was much more useful than brainwashing. Since I need to reconstruct my consciousness as soon as possible, I have to establish my own position. Pulling out Dongyang's banner seems like a good idea. Dongyang's position is in the Saint Realm. Then, I'll directly mold Su Fei into Dongyang's fanatical subordinate. Before I leave, I'll definitely leave a lot of cultivation foundation on him. And it shouldn't be lower than Qingming's. It's very likely that he's in the prominent divine stage. I'll also push all of this to Dongyang's mysterious senior. Memory molding. Dongyang has been cultivating him for a long time, with the goal of letting him rule the Kongli continent. Su Fei also worships Dongyang like a god, and is willing to sacrifice everything for him. Various thoughts flashed through Tsing Hui's mind. Originally, he had felt that it was troublesome to choose a spokesperson for the Kongli continent. It would have been best to give the Kongli continent to a native cultivator, instead of returning it to the heavenly law. Now that the spokesperson had delivered himself to him, Su Fei, who had his memories reconstructed, would be the best spokesperson. Moreover, since Su Fei's the memories were created by him, he could set his loyalty to Su Fei. With that in mind, Tsing Hui controlled the various strands of consciousness that he had seeped out to seep into Su Fei's broken consciousness. While slowly repairing his consciousness, he also constantly changed his memories and thoughts, causing fragments of memories that didn't belong to him to appear in his mind. At this rate, Su Fei's consciousness will be completely restored in half a month. Moreover, since I've already filled in most of this consciousness and left my spiritual imprint, I won't even need coordinates when I want to descend and possess him. A body like this needs to be properly developed and carefully observed. If there aren't any problems, it'll be much easier to rule the other continents in the future. The consciousness that has just been restored is still too weak, so I'll have to rely on the qi of my primordial spirit to nourish it while staying in my spiritual world to polish it. Tsing Hui then took out a strand of primordial spirit qi, and put his thoughts into action. Even though Qing Su would leave behind a cultivation at the vision domain realm in this body, as well as give him the cultivation memories of awakening, true qi, refining aura, merging the qi and the spirit as one, green darkness, and vision domain realms, if the power of the soul left behind in this body was too weak, he would not be able to unleash his full strength even if he had the cultivation realms. Time passed by and night quickly arrived. Feeling the voices in the courtyard gradually die down, Tsing Hui, who had been waiting for a long time, no longer hesitated. Activating the spirit travel technique, his primordial spirit flew out from the top of his head. This formation actually has a suppressive force that targets the primordial spirit. The moment his primordial spirit left his body, Tsing Hui immediately felt a suppressive force from the entire sky-bearing mountain range. Thankfully, this suppressive force seemed to only target the mind and not the primordial spirit. Furthermore, Tsing Hui's primordial spirit had been tempered by the 9 heavens astral wind, and was much stronger than an ordinary primordial spirit. Even if he felt his primordial spirit weakening at a much faster rate, he was still able to ensure that it could leave his body. The heavenly Tao is truly worthy of being a large power that is famous for its formations. This formation is able to suppress all spiritual energy means. Even if a powerful existence were to send down an ordinary main battle incarnation, it would probably not be able to do anything to a spirit and qi as one cultivator. Tsing Hui's primordial spirit flew at a relatively slow speed. The closer he got to the peak of the mountain, the more obvious the suppressive force of the formation would be. If not for the fact that Tsing Hui's spirit travel technique had already reached the large success stage, and had the recovery ability of the 10th order to continuously replenish his primordial spirit would have been completely depleted, and he would have no choice but to return to his body. I can at most last for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Tsing Hui sensed for a moment before his figure shuttled through the air, and arrived at the tall tower where the 6 true energy boundary experts were guarding. The 6 true energy boundary experts of the Heavensville Palace each occupied a tall tower, and formed a circular ring to guard an energy pool. The tall tower absorbed the energy from the energy pool, and turned it into a pillar of light that shot into the sky, supporting this gigantic formation that spanned an area of 300 kilometers. Furthermore, Tsing Hui observed for a moment. If this gigantic formation was activated at full power, the area it covered could at least be expanded by 3 times, reaching a diameter of over 1,000 kilometers. As expected of an invincible formation left behind by a saint stage expert. Compared to this formation, the creation mystical sex gate of destinies pales in comparison. Xing Hui sighed, and then his primordial spirit sneaked into the tall tower of a true energy boundary expert. This true energy boundary expert was a member of the Heavenly Tao, named Hai Ting. The Heavenly Tao Alliance called him the Thunder Demon King. Of course, the members of the Heavenly Tao Alliance who stayed here were basically exiled, and had limited potential and background. It was fine to call him the Thunder Demon King in the Kongli continent, but if a true energy boundary expert dared to be so arrogant in the infinite wasteland world, he would be beaten to death in minutes. Sizzle. As soon as Xing Hui's primordial spirit entered the tall tower, a trace of electric light appeared on the surface of the tall tower, as if it was an electric escape caused by the collision of positive and negative electric ions. Oh no, this tall tower has other formations protecting it. Not only does it have a warning function, but it can also damage the primordial spirit. The sudden change made Xing Hui's expression change slightly. Especially when he felt that Hai Ting in the tall tower had been alarmed, he wanted to turn around and leave. However, when the true energy boundary expert arrived at the area, he only glanced at it in a daze before quickly retracting his gaze. Instead, he muttered to himself, "There are more and more problems with the 33 layers heaven punishment formation. Just now, I don't know what kind of malfunction it had. Sigh, the sect didn't even send a formation master to fix it. If this continues, in less than 100 years, this formation will completely weaken. Even a transcendent realm cultivator won't be able to stop it." After that, he did not bother to find out what was going on with the electric discharge just now. After more than 300 years of peace, coupled with the blow of being exiled to the Kongli continent, he had already become numb and did not have the energy to waste time on this formation. Xing Hui, who was about to turn around and leave, saw this scene and could not help but be a little surprised. The heavens will palace. After so many years of peace, it did not seem as difficult to destroy it as he had imagined. After pondering for a while, Xing Hui ignored the weakness of his primordial spirit and entered the tall tower again. This time, Hai Ting did not even bother to check on the electric discharge that had been triggered again. He allowed Xing Hui's primordial spirit to enter the tower, while he remained in his room fiddling with something. Xing Hui did not care about Hai Ting's actions. While his primordial spirit could still maintain its form, he quickly headed to the top of the tower. At the top of the tower, a crystal ball nearly a meter in diameter hovered above a formation. The crystal ball emitted a steady stream of energy, which was absorbed by the formation at the top of the tower. It turned into a stream of light, shooting into the clouds and converging into the 33 layers heaven punishment formation. Xing Hui stared at the formation for a while. Although he knew almost nothing about formations, he could vaguely tell that the tower's main function was to guard and investigate. As for the other 5 towers, they were responsible for the attack, defense, transformation, suppression, recovery, and other functions of the 33 layers heaven punishment formation. This crystal ball is probably not simple. I wonder what grade it belongs to. However, this formation is able to affect Saint Realm experts. As the core of the formation, even if it's a grade lower than the core of the formation, its value shouldn't be lower than the 12th grade. Moreover, as long as I take it away, the 33-level Heavenly Tribulation formation's alarm and detection ability will vanish. But in this way, it'll definitely be noticed by others, Xing Hui pondered. Seeing that his primordial spirit was getting weaker and weaker, he left the tower and drove his primordial spirit back into his body. Because he had passed through the tower 3 times, his primordial spirit had been greatly exhausted. Xing Hui's face was somewhat pale. Fortunately, he had a slight understanding of the 33 layers heaven punishment formation. Attack, defense, and suppression are the most important. Once the attack is activated, even if I have the strength of a prominent divine realm expert, I will probably be instantly killed by the formation. As for defense, it can ensure that they can sit back and relax. No matter how I attack, I will not be able to completely destroy their formation. In addition, suppression. can make my strength great generals. This was an unsolvable formation. Fortunately, after several hundred years of peace, the 6 true element boundary masters who were in charge of maintaining the spirit array had slackened their guard, giving him an opportunity to strike. Regardless of the warning, transformation, and recovery, the most important things are the attack, defense, and suppression. At most, I will destroy one of the attack bases. The remaining 5 true energy boundary experts will immediately react. When the formation is activated, whether it is suppression or defense, all my efforts will be for naught. Moreover, I will also act rashly and alert the enemy. Xing Hui analyzed in his mind. I need someone to attract the attention of the 6 true energy boundary experts for me. 2 of the true energy boundary experts in charge of suppression, defense, and attack must be sent away. To do this, the external threat must be strong enough to cause the 4 prominent divine realm palace masters of the Heavens Will Palace to be on the verge of death. The Heaven Punishing Alliance clearly did not have this ability. Then he could only try the magic arsenal transformation technique. I wish everyone a happy National Day. The promise of the Double 10 explosion has been fulfilled. Other than when I was competing for the monthly votes during the sky-killing Sword Immortal era, I've never worked so hard as I did this week. Fortunately, I didn't let everyone down and completed this great feat finally. I'd like to ask for a recommendation and monthly votes. If you can pull up the subscriptions, that would be the best. Chapter 414. Magic Arsenal Transformation. Xing Hui's understanding of this immortal art was still at the entry stage. He could only create soldiers at the true Qi realm and spirit refining realm. If he wanted to create soldiers at the spirit and Qi union realm, green underworld realm, or even prominent domain realm, he would need to make use of powerful spiritual items. The grades of these spiritual items would need to be at least at the 6th, 8th, and 10th grade respectively. Due to the uniqueness of the magic arsenal transformation, the spiritual items created by the 10th grade spiritual items wouldn't have the ability to manifest their battle physique. As compared to a true prominent domain expert, they would be slightly weaker. Although that was the case, but there were too many of them. If dozens of prominent domain experts were to rush forward, even if they weren't able to manifest their battle physique, it would still be enough to render the Heavens Will Palace helpless. If they weren't willing to see the place under their jurisdiction being engulfed in flames, and the Heavens Will Palace being annihilated until only an empty box like the sky-bearing mountain range was left, the only way would be to invite those true element realm experts to take action. The price of a 10th grade spiritual item is comparable to a 9th grade divine weapon. If dozens of spiritual items were to be used, that would be hundreds of Dao ripples. I can't afford to squander them. Before I carry out the plan, I should cultivate the magic arsenal transformation to the small success stage first. Xing Hui took a glance at the Dao ripples in his fortune jade. A month ago, he was ambushed by the Black Sky Dao Lord in the Cloud Desolate Mountain Range. He had completely relied on the backtrack art derived from the rank 40 Son of Primal Chaos to escape with his life. At that time, he had already exhausted all the Dao ripples on him. After a month, after deducting his daily consumption, he was left with 30 Dao ripples. With these 30 Dao ripples, it wouldn't be difficult for him to push the magic arsenal transformation to the small success stage. Thinking that it wasn't good for him to be too active since he had just arrived at the Heavens Will Palace, Xing Hui immediately immersed himself in comprehending the magic arsenal transformation. The magic arsenal transformation was originally a supreme immortal art derived from the fortune jade. With the help of the fortune jade's deduction, Xing Hui's cultivation speed could be said to have increased by leaps and bounds. When the Dao ripples in the fortune jade were left with 10 Dao ripples, he had already broken through to the small success stage. At the minor completion stage, the effect of magic arsenal was even more obvious. If Huang Xiaolong was willing to part with it, he could use a level 12 origin treasure to create soldiers at the level of undying spirit realm. Of course, as these soldiers were all enlightened by spiritual objects of heaven and earth, their battle prowess was slightly weaker than ferocious beasts of the same level. Although the never-ending realm soldiers had powerful energy levels, The battle prowess they could display might not be much stronger than ordinary transformative realm soldiers. If Tsinghui's transformative realm main body were to deal with them, it would be easy for him to take on 10 of them. Before coming to the Kongli continent, I had already considered the various problems I might encounter, and prepared quite a number of heaven and earth phase. Among these heaven and earth phase, there were 3 heaven and earth phase each, 10 heaven and earth phase, 15 heaven and earth phase, 40 heaven and earth phase, and 100 heaven and earth phase. Tsinghui counted the number of heaven and earth phase he had on him. It wasn't considered a lot, so he couldn't use magic arsenal too recklessly. Furthermore, his current body was only at the Spirit Chi Unity realm, so the amount of energy he could inject into the soldiers was limited. If he really summoned 40 prominent divine stage subordinates, they would only be able to last for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. I have to find a chance to go out and break through to the green netherworld realm, Tsinghui thought to himself as he walked out of the courtyard. At the same time he called out, "Men, what orders does Master have?" Soon after, the captain who was in charge of the courtyard's safety in Dragon Tooth City appeared in front of Tsinghui. "I need to go out for a trip, but the sky-bearing mountain range is vast. Help me make arrangements." "Go out." The captain was slightly startled and quickly said, "This? Master has only been in the Heavenswell Palace for a few days, and you want to go out already? If it isn't something important, why don't you leave it to us to handle?" Before the captain finished speaking, Tsinghui's expression turned serious. "Why, do I have to follow your arrangements for my whereabouts?" No. Then what are you waiting for? Go and prepare a battleship for me." "There's no need for a battleship. It's inconvenient for a battleship to dock. I remember that the Heavenswell Palace has a small flying tool. Prepare it for me." Seeing Tsinghui's resolute expression, the captain could only reply, "Yes, I'll go and arrange it." The captain quickly left as he spoke. However, in less than an hour, the flying tool was not prepared, and Su Qiubai charged into Tsinghui's courtyard with a look of dissatisfaction. "Didn't you settle the things you wanted to settle before coming? It's only been a few days. Why are you in such a hurry to leave the sky-bearing mountain range? Why don't you just stay in the sky-bearing mountain range and make use of the environment here to cultivate? Who knows, you might even be able to break through to the awakened realm." What kind of attitude is this? I just want to go out and take a look, and you're all trying to stop me? Do you want to put me under house arrest in the Heavenswell Palace? I think you didn't leave to go out and take a look, but to send some messages to some unknown people. Nonsense. I obviously want to go out and relax. The Heavenswell Palace is a completely foreign environment, and I'm not used to it. Can't I go out and take a walk? No. Su Qiubai refused without hesitation. Without my and second sister's permission, you're not allowed to leave the Heavenswell Palace. Of course, you can leave by yourself, but the Heavenswell Palace is protected by the 33 layers of Heaven's Punishment Formation. Without our disciples' token, you may not be able to walk out of the 300-kilometer radius of the formation. Is this how you treat your father, who gave birth to you and raised you? Everything we've done is for your own good." Su Qiubai finished and did not give him a chance to refute. "When you're able to leave, we'll naturally let you leave, but not now. All right, that's it. Stay in the Heavenswell Palace and cultivate your body and mind." With that, she turned and left. This girl. Tsinghui frowned. If Su Ying and Su Qiubai did not allow him to leave the Heavenswell Palace, then that would be a problem. It looked like he could only steal a disciple's token from one of the Heavenswell Palace disciples. In any case, he was just a mortal who had not even reached the awakening realm. Even if something happened to one of the Heavenswell Palace disciples, they would not suspect him. Thinking about this, Tsinghui planned to wait until nightfall to use the Wandering Spirit Imperial Air technique to choose a suitable target. However, before nightfall, not even 6 hours after Su Qiubai refused to let Tsinghui go out, a group of 3 people silently appeared in Tsinghui's courtyard. "Uncle Su, is Uncle Su here?" A cautious voice came from outside the courtyard. Tsinghui opened the door. When he saw the 4 people at the door, he could not help but be startled. "So it's nephew Yang. Please come in, quickly come in. I'll have the servants serve tea." The people at the door were Yang Yintian, a spirit and chi unity stage, and 2 true chi stage subordinates. Uncle Su, there's no need to be so polite. We came here secretly, so it's not good to alert the servants. Yang Yuntian hurriedly said in a low voice. Not good to alert the servants? Nephew Yangyer, didn't we hear that Uncle Su wanted to go out to relax but was stopped by Qiubai? We came specially to help Uncle Su. Uncle Su doesn't have a disciple's token, but we do. Furthermore, if Uncle Su really wants to go out, you don't need to apply for a flying magic tool from the palace. I have one on me. If Uncle really wants to go out, I can arrange it for Uncle. Hearing this, Tsing Hui's face lit up with joy. Really? That's great. Then I'll have to trouble Nephew Yang. I heard that the Maple Forest Mountain not far from the sky-bearing mountain range has beautiful scenery. I want to go there to relax. All right, I'll have Zhang Long and Zhang Hu arrange it. As Yang Yuntian said that, he turned to the Spirit and Chi Unity Stage Elder behind him and said, I'll have to ask Uncle Zhou to borrow the flying magic tool, and let Zhang Long and Zhang Hu drive it out. This is a small matter, but if the flying magic tool leaves from here, I'm afraid it's a little inappropriate. Yes. If Qiubai knew that I went against her wishes and brought Uncle out, she would definitely be unhappy. Uncle, why don't we go to my courtyard first? All right, Nephew Yang is still the most considerate. Uncle is too kind. I only hope that Uncle can put in a few good words for me in front of Qiubai, and let her understand my feelings. I'll be satisfied. Don't worry, that lass hasn't been home for a few years and has a wild temper. I'll teach her a good lesson, and let her understand what kind of person is a good match for her. Then I'll have to thank Uncle. Yang Yuntian was instantly overjoyed. He immediately arranged for the Spirit and Chi Unity Stage Elder to bring Tsing Hui out of this courtyard, and into Yang Yuntian's courtyard. Zhang Long, Zhang Hu, when the time comes, the two of you have to listen to Uncle Su's orders and treat Uncle Su's words as my words. If I find out that you've disobeyed Uncle Su in the slightest, be careful of your heads. In the courtyard, Yang Yuntian stood in front of a rank 4 flying magic tool that the elder surnamed Zhou had already taken out, and spoke sternly to Zhang Long and Zhang Hu. Young master, please be at ease. We'll definitely obey Master Su's orders. Zhang Long and Zhang Hu, the 2 true Qi realm cultivators, responded in a sonorous voice at the same time. Yang Yuntian nodded, then turned to Tsing Hui again and said enthusiastically, Uncle, please. Many thanks, Nephew Yang. Tsing Hui smiled and nodded at Yang Yuntian, then stepped onto the flying magic tool. Soon, under the control of Zhang Long, a true Qi realm cultivator, the magic tool took off and disappeared into the clouds in a short while. Seeing the flying magic tool fly away, Yang Yuntian's enthusiastic smile gradually turned cold. Uncle Zhou, I'll leave the rest to you. According to the information I've received, this old man has always had an unclear relationship with the Heavenly Alliance. This time, he wants to leave in a hurry. He must have discovered something in our Heavenwell Palace, and sent out some important information. Our plan to lure him out will definitely be able to capture the evidence of his collusion with the Heavenly Alliance. At that time, we can use his life to force Su Qiubai, that bitch, to submit to me and let me toy with her. Secondly, we can also use this old man as a chess piece to send the wrong information to the Heavenly Alliance, and set up a trap to deal a heavy blow to the Heavenly Alliance. Young master is wise. Haha, okay, let's follow them immediately. We can't miss the good show of the old man colluding with the Heavenly Alliance. This is the most crucial evidence. Chapter 4:15. Tsing Hui sat on a flying magic tool and flew towards Maplewood Mountain, which was about 4,000 kilometers away from the sky-bearing mountain range. The speed of a grade 4 flying magic tool was not fast, and could only cover a distance of 500 kilometers in 2 hours. To fly from the sky-bearing mountain range to the Maplewoods mountain range would require 16 hours, which was close to a day. Fortunately, the greatest advantage of a flying magic tool was its stable flight speed. As long as someone was controlling it and paying attention to changing the spirit stones, it would not require too much effort to fly. Tsing Hui left in the afternoon, and arrived at Maplewood Mountain the next morning. Looking at the red Maplewood Mountain, Xing Hui had a faint smile on his face. Good, good, it seems we came at the right time. Now is the best time to see the maple leaves. Master Su, do you think we should stay here for a while and then leave, or do you think we should prepare to camp? Zhang Long stood next to Xing Hui and asked carefully. It's not easy to come out, so I have to stay here for a while. Otherwise, it won't be so easy the next time I want to come out, Xing Hui said and then waved his hand at the two. You two prepare to camp here. I have to look around. Zhang Long and Zhang Hu looked at each other and thought of young Master Yang Yuntian's instructions. They immediately nodded in understanding. Yes, we'll immediately prepare the camp. Master Su, be careful. Although there aren't any powerful spirit beasts in Maplewood Mountain, there are still some vicious beasts. If you encounter any danger, please call us immediately. Haha, I'm a blood transformation cultivator. In an ordinary country, I would be considered a master. How could mere vicious beasts harm me? As Qing Su said that, he waved his hand at the two of them and vanished into the maple forest very soon. It's just as young master said. That old fellow will leave us behind as soon as he arrives at Maplewood Mountain. Now he should be going to meet the scouts of the Heaven Hunting Alliance. Zhang Long watched Xing Hui leave and his eyes gradually turned cold. What a stupid old thing. Young master has already seen through his thoughts and beat him at his own game. He sent him out under the guise of pleasing his father-in-law. When young master catches the evidence of him colluding with the Heaven Punishment Alliance, his life will still be in young master's control, right? Even his shrewish daughter will be at young master's mercy. I know that old fellow has a lot of weight in the hearts of Su Ying and Su Qiubai, those two proud women. Zhang Hu also chuckled and replied. This old thing is useless, but he can give birth to so many beautiful daughters. I really envy young master. Very soon, these beautiful girls will become young master's exclusive property. The three sisters will serve on the same bed, but because they are forced, each of their beautiful faces will be filled with stubbornness and unwillingness. Just thinking about it makes me feel good. Pa! Zhang Hu was still immersed in his fantasies when Zhang Long smacked him on the head. All right, don't let your imagination run wild. That's the woman that young master specifically wants. She's not someone you can touch. All right, quickly release the tracking bees. We can't lose track of this old man. If we ruin young master's plan because of us, young master won't let us off so easily. Don't worry, I've already smeared some queen bee juice on him. With the tracing bee's sense of smell, even if he runs hundreds of kilometers away, the tracing bees can easily find him. What we need to do now is to be careful not to alert him and wait for young master's arrival. All right. Zhang Long and Zhang Hu thought that even if a mortal realm cultivator wanted to leave Qing ruins, running a few hundred kilometers a day would be the limit. Unfortunately, they obviously underestimated Xing Hui's strength. Even though Qing Su was only at the realm of Qi uniting, which prevented him from unleashing the full speed of flowing fire, he could still reach almost 1,000 kilometers per hour when he flew at full speed due to the constant replenishment of true Qi. In less than 2 hours, he had traveled over 1,000 kilometers away from Maple Forest Mountain. If he used this place to break through to the Green Netherworld realm, he wouldn't need to worry about attracting the attention of Maplewood Mountain, or even Heavenswell Palace. Time is tight, let's start. Qing Su murmured to himself. He already had the experience of breaking through to the Blue Netherworld realm. The Blue Netherworld realm was nothing difficult for him. All he had to do was allow Su Fei's body to become more compatible with the connection between man and nature from the Blue Netherworld realm. In less than 2 hours, the energy in the surroundings had already formed a huge swirl. Moreover, since he had already reached the transformative realm, the speed at which he broke through to the Blue Netherworld realm was extremely fast. In less than a day, he had already reached the Blue Netherworld realm and stabilized his cultivation. A day was not a long time, but it made Zhang Long and Zhang Hu, who thought they were absolutely safe, extremely anxious. Due to Qing Su exceeding the tracking limits of the tracking bees, the tracking bees actually all returned after flying a certain distance away, losing Qing Su's whereabouts. Coupled with the fact that Yang Yuntian and the elder Zhou Liuji had arrived and discovered that the two of them had actually lost their target, they flew into a terrible rage, which made Zhang Long and Zhang Hu even more miserable. However, Xing Hui didn't care about these. After stabilizing the green netherworld realm, with the help of some heavenly materials and earthly treasures, his realm soared again like a rocket. In less than 3 days, his body had completely transformed. His body was constantly connected with the heaven and earth, and his sensitivity had reached the peak of the green netherworld realm. Then he could directly condense the battle body. I have the experience of condensing the divine body of the Golden Crow, so it's not too difficult to condense the divine body of the Golden Crow again. However, to condense the divine body of the Golden Crow, not only does it require a deeper understanding of the Golden Crow, but it also requires an extremely powerful energy. If I use the Golden Crow's blood essence, it will be barely enough, but, thinking of the price of the Golden Crow's blood essence, Xinghui couldn't help but hesitate. You can't trap the wolf without risking the child. Because Su Fei's body contains a part of my consciousness, it's easy for me to send a clone into his body. Even if I invest more in this body, it won't be a big loss. Moreover, if I can condense the divine body of the Golden Crow, the 6 true energy realm experts won't be a threat to me without the help of a formation. A cold light flashed in Xinghui's eyes. In the next moment, the drop of Golden Crow's blood essence, which cost him 55 Taoist rhymes, was directly refined. After the Golden Crow's blood essence entered his body, it was as if his entire body was placed in a furnace, boiling rapidly. The blood and Zhen Qi in his body were like magma, bringing a terrifying heat. This was because there was no medicine to neutralize it, and the energy in the Golden Crow's blood essence was too powerful. However, Xinghui, who had the recovery ability of the 10th level, didn't need to spend any effort to prepare medicine like the falling sun pill for this body to neutralize the power of the Golden Crow's blood essence. However much the Golden Crow's blood essence was damaged in his body, the recovery ability of the 10th level could also repair it. After completely refining the drop of Golden Crow's blood essence, and his Zhen Qi reached its peak, his Golden Crow divine soul suddenly descended and merged with the boiling blood essence in his body. All of a sudden, a vast and mighty energy ball appeared from his body like a rising sun, releasing endless light. It lit up the surrounding forest and created a huge mountain fire. This is a big loss. A portion of primordial spirit qi, a portion of Golden Crow's blood essence, and a few portions of ordinary Golden Crow's blood essence. I've invested more than 80 Taoist rhymes into this body. The entire Heaven Hunting Alliance has only accumulated 100 or 200 Taoist rhymes over hundreds of years. If I'm not satisfied with what I get from the Kongli continent, I'll regret this investment. Xinghui was a little nervous. After a while, the Golden Crow's divine body was absorbed into Xinghui's body. Because the Golden Crow's divine body was condensed according to the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and the characteristics of the divine soul were completely the same, this divine ability derived from the Golden Crow's divine body was also the Great Sun True Flame and Eternal Resplendent Flame. After spending another day to completely stabilize the Vision Divine stage, Xinghui had to move his body and end his cultivation. It's about time. I've already left for 5 days. If I don't go back soon, Yang Yintian and the others will go crazy. Xinghui said with a cold smile on his face. In fact, he could more or less guess why Yang Yintian was so eager to send him out of the Heavens Will Palace. He was just pretending not to know. Acting? Who wouldn't? Wait, Yang Yintian is an important figure. His father is the Heavens Will Palace's Vice Palace Master, Yang Kaigui. His grandfather is one of the 6 true energy boundary experts, Yang Xiao. Yang Xiao seems to be in charge of the true energy boundary expert, who is guarding the eye of the 33-layered heavenly punishment great array. If we can kill him. Xinghui's eyes flickered with radiance. Let's give it a try. Let's see if I can use Yang Yintian to lure him out. With that thought, 10 tier 6 and 20 tier 5 phase appeared in Xinghui's hand. As he cultivated the magic arsenal to the initial success stage, he could use Tier 6 phase to create Vision Divine stage experts and Tier 5 phase to create Green Netherworld Realm experts. This power. Wait a minute. If I want to lure the enemy out, I should do it step by step. Xinghui immediately collected 9 Tier 6 phase and 10 Tier 5 phase. Then, the magic arsenal was activated, and powerful qi was continuously injected into the Tier 6 phase. Hui only stopped after he had injected more than half of his qi. Done. In the next moment, Hui threw out the fei in his hand. It was unknown what kind of treasure it was, but it grew with the wind. Soon, it turned into a strange tree-like existence. This tree-like existence was 8 meters tall. Although it maintained its human form, there were still some branches growing on its body. It was like a tree spirit transforming. Master, thank you for giving us life. The enlightened tree-like existence bowed its head respectfully to Hui. Very good. I used 80% of my qi. Combined with your own power, it can be maintained for 1 month. Even if there is an intense battle, it can be maintained for 2 to 3 days. Hui nodded with satisfaction, and relied on the Tier 10 recovery ability to quickly recover his qi. He then enlightened the 10 Tier 5 phase one by one. Soon 10 tree-like, stone golem, and elemental creatures appeared one after another. Their energy aura had all reached the green netherworld realm. They are a little like a motley crew. Looking at the 11 figures with different forms, Hui was speechless. But for now, he could only make do with them. Alright, let's set off now and surround the Heavenswell Palace's people on Maplewood Mountain. Remember, don't kill too quickly. I still have to wait for them to send a message to the Heavenswell Palace to find reinforcements. Yes, Master. Chapter 416. Damn it, where is he? Where is he? Where did you track him to? Each and every one of you swore that with the tracing bee, you would be able to lock onto that old man's position and ensure that nothing goes wrong. Is this what you mean by nothing goes wrong? In Maplewood Mountain, Yang Yuntian angrily roared at Zhonglong and Zhang Hu, the 2 true qi cultivators. Zhou Liuji stared at them coldly from behind. It seemed that he would kill Zhonglong and Zhang Hu as soon as Yang Yuntian gave the order. Young Master, please give us another chance. We will definitely find him. Young Master, please spare our lives. We didn't expect this to happen. Zhonglong and Zhang Hu kept begging for mercy. They hated Su Fei, who had disappeared without a trace. We've been out for 5 days. 1 day. I'll give you 1 more day. I don't care what you do, but you must find that old man and find the evidence of him colluding with the Heaven Punishment Alliance. Otherwise, there's no need for you 2 useless things to exist. Yang Yuntian gritted his teeth. One day, Zhonglong and Zhang Hu were desperate. Get the hell out of here and find him. Yes, yes, yes. Although they hadn't found Su Fei's whereabouts in the past 5 days, and they didn't have the slightest confidence that they would be able to find Su Fei today, they didn't dare to hesitate and immediately released the tracking bees. It was just that today's tracking bees were different from the previous times when they flew out blindly and returned directly. They seemed to have sensed something. After flying disorderly for a while, they flew towards a direction at full speed. From the looks of it, they had obviously smelled the location of the queen bee juice. This sudden change made Zhonglong and Zhang Hu slightly startled. Then they cried out in surprise. Found it! Found it! The tracing bee has found the whereabouts of that old man. Yang Yuntian, who was standing at the side, was also surprised when he saw this. Then he suddenly kicked Zhonglong and said, What are you waiting for? Follow them and find that old man. Yes, yes. Zhonglong and Zhang Hu both agreed and quickly followed after him. Yang Yuntian and Zhou Liuji followed behind him and didn't dare to relax. Zhou Liuji seemed to have thought of something and said, Young Master, it has been 5 days. According to the situation, that old man must have contacted the Heaven Punishing Alliance. I'm afraid that we won't be able to obtain evidence of his collusion with the Heaven Punishing Alliance. Young Master, what do you plan to do next? There's no evidence. Yang Yuntian's eyes were gloomy. After a moment of silence, his face gradually twisted. Suchiobai, that bitch, I've wasted several years on her. I don't have the patience to wait any longer. Although we didn't see the deal between this old bastard and the Heaven Attacking Alliance, according to the information we received, I'm afraid that he has colluded with the Heaven Attacking Alliance. Then, we'll give him a piece of evidence of his collusion with the Heaven Attacking Alliance. At that time, whether it's true or false, he can't deny it. Oh, this method is feasible. However, we still have to do it properly. Otherwise, it will be difficult to explain to the palace master. You know, Su Ying and Su Qiubai are the two genius disciples that the palace master values. They are quite prestigious in the Heavens Will Palace. If we don't do it well, it will cause a group incident. Don't worry. This old man is obviously a coward. If we force him, he will probably spit out everything he knows. Yang Yuntian's eyes were cold. Zhou Liuji nodded. Anyway, his young master had done this kind of thing more than once or twice. He was quite familiar with it. With Deputy Palace Master Yang Kai-Gui holding down the fort, nothing major would happen. Soon, the group had rushed for dozens of kilometers. They happened to see Tsing Hui walking leisurely on a remote mountain road. Found him. Found him. The moment Zhang Long and Zhang Hu saw Tsing Hui, they felt as if they had just escaped from death. Oh, why are you two here? And nephew Yang, why are you here? Tsing Hui looked at them and asked even though he already knew the answer. Yang Yuntian stared at Tsing Hui carefully. On the surface, it was really difficult to see that Tsing Hui had colluded with the Heaven Attacking Alliance. For a moment, he did not have the patience to continue to entangle with Tsing Hui. He immediately shouted, Su Fei, how dare you? How dare you collude with the traitors of the Heaven Attacking Alliance? Are you trying to rebel? Collude with the traitors of the Heaven Attacking Alliance? Nephew Yang, why do you say that? Tsing Hui asked with a puzzled look. Don't pretend anymore. We have already obtained evidence that you colluded with the Heaven Attacking Alliance. This time, you deliberately left Heaven's Will Peak and came to Maplewood Mountain for the purpose of meeting with the people of the Heaven Attacking Alliance, right? That's why I cooperated with you and sent you to Maplewood Mountain. Now that we have evidence that you colluded with the Heaven Attacking Alliance, are you still not going to admit it? Speaking of this, Yang Yuntian said bitterly, Uncle Su Fei, I didn't expect that you would do such a thing. As a junior, I am really heartbroken. At this time, if you are willing to admit your guilt and confess, I can still help you hide it for a while. If you still refuse to admit it, then don't blame us for sending you directly to the punishment department. Qing Su looked at how Yang Yuntian acted like he was doing everything for the sake of Yang Yuntian. He was both threatening and persuading him, so he had a whole new level of respect for this young Master Yang. At the very least, Yang Yuntian was not some ignorant piece of trash. However, I really didn't make any deal with the Heaven Attacking Alliance. How can I confess? Tsing Hui shrugged. Yang Yuntian tried his best to persuade Tsing Hui again. However, Yang Yuntian was stubborn. For a moment, his expression turned completely cold. It seems that you are stubborn. What a pity. Then he waved his hand. Uncle Zhou, go and search him. I think we can find evidence that he colluded with the Heaven Attacking Alliance, and make him confess. Of course. Zhou Liuji sneered and strode forward. There was a sliver of cruelty in his eyes. If you admit your guilt obediently right now, you'll be spared some physical pain. Otherwise, I don't mind using the methods of torture that the Heavens Will Palace uses to force the Sons of Chaos on you. What do you want? Could it be that you want to force me to confess to my crimes? Tsing Hui seemed to be frightened, and could not help but take 2 steps back. Why not? Anyway, according to the information we have, you and the Heaven Punishing Alliance are not clear. You just don't have any evidence. As long as we can force something out of you this time, we will be able to prove your crimes. If you can't do it, you have a backbone. If you don't tell us, we will torture you to death. At worst, you can just say that you met the rebels of the Heaven Punishing Alliance when you went out. If your precious daughters want to investigate, they can just use 2 of them as the scapegoats. Do you think they can trace it back to me? Yang Yuntian said with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Don't forget. You secretly followed us out of your courtyard and left the Heavens Will Palace on a flying magic tool. Other than us, no one else knows that you left with us. No matter what, this matter won't affect me in any way. It seems that this old man really wants to resist to the end. Uncle Zhou, do it. Yes, young master. Wait a minute. Tsing Hui saw that Zhou Liuji was really going to torture him and quickly said, I'll talk. I've indeed obtained an important piece of information. This information is very important. If we are not careful, It may even bring disaster to the Heavenwell Palace. Calamity? Tell us if it's important enough, we may let you go. Reinforcements. According to what I know, there are dozens of prominent Divine Realm experts and hundreds of Blue Nether Realm experts. They are now scattered around the Heavenswell Peak within a radius of 5,000 kilometers. I don't know what kind of ceremony they are holding. It is said that once the ceremony is completed, the Heavenswell Palace's 33-layered Heavens Punishment Great Formation will be destroyed. At that time, without the protection of the formation, the Heavenswell Palace will be destroyed by dozens of prominent Divine Realm experts and hundreds of Blue Nether Realm experts. Then, the Heavenswell Palace will be destroyed, and that Almighty will be able to complete the Heavenswell Alliance's mission. Destroy our Heavenwell Palace's 33-layered Heavens Punishment Formation? How is that possible? Dozens of prominent Divine Realm experts and hundreds of Blue Nether Realm experts? You're not joking, right? Yang Yuntian and Zhou Liuji clearly didn't believe it. What I said is true. The reason why I chose to come back after disappearing for 5 days is because I want to immediately return to the Heavenwell Palace and inform my daughters of this news. I want to take them away from the Heavenwell Palace, so that they won't encounter any mishaps in the upcoming disaster. After saying that, Qingsu looked around solemnly. If you don't believe me, you can get people to investigate the Maplewoods Mountains properly. This place just happens to be within 5,000 kilometers of the Heavenswell Peak. Although the presences of the spiritual monsters at the Vision Saint realm are rather obscure, you can still sense them if you sense them carefully. Yang Yuntian and Zhou Liuji saw that Xinghui seemed to be telling the truth, and became suspicious at the same time. They had heard that the Heaven Attacking Alliance wanted to borrow the help of the Almighty from the outside world, to destroy the Heavenwell Palace. Those Almighty had extremely strange methods, so it wasn't strange for them to do such a thing. Sha. Just as Yang Yuntian, Zhou Liuji and the others were suspicious, the sound of the forest shaking could be heard from not far away. It seemed that some creature was rushing in this direction. They're coming, those monsters are coming. Xinghui suddenly shouted with a face of fear. He then turned around and rushed into the forest at the side with his fastest speed. His explosive speed was so fast that even Zhou Liuji, who was at the Spirit Chi Unity realm, couldn't react. Chapter 417. This, Yang Yuntian was slightly startled, but he immediately reacted and shouted, "Catch him! Don't let him run away!" How fast? A mere mortal can move so fast. He must have some treasure on him. Zhou Liuji thought to himself. Just as he was about to make a move, he felt the rustling sound coming from the distant forest getting closer and closer. He didn't dare to forget his duty and shouted at Zhang Long and Zhang Hu. "What are you waiting for? Go and catch him." Then he turned to Yang Yuntian and said, "Young master, something seems wrong here. We should return to the flying celestial device as soon as possible. That way, we can retreat in time if we encounter danger." Yes, let's go. If what that old thing said is true, then I'm afraid the Heavenswell Palace is really in trouble. Yang Yuntian nodded and quickly headed to the camp where the flying celestial device was parked. However, before the two of them were halfway to the high cliff where the camp was located, a shrill scream came from the forest. "It's Zhang Long." Yang Yuntian's expression changed. "Let's go." Zhou Liuji could not care about anything else. He grabbed Yang Yuntian and quickly rushed to the flying celestial device. "There seems to be one in front too." Yang Yuntian suddenly pointed in the direction of the camp and said in horror. Almost as soon as he finished speaking, he saw a 4-meter-tall stone man trampling on the trees in the dense forest, opening a path in the forest and appearing above the camp. Then, its huge fist smashed toward the flying celestial device in the center of the camp. Accompanied by flames and tremors, the 4th-level flying celestial device was directly smashed into pieces, bursting out a large amount of debris. "Oh no!" Zhou Liuji's expression changed. What kind of monster is this?" Yang Yuntian stared blankly and said, "This kind of stone-like monster is definitely not on the Kongli continent. Is this really the subordinate of the mysterious Almighty, who accepted the mission of the Heavenswell Alliance to destroy the Heavenswell Palace? This monster, The strength contained in the flying celestial device is at least at the Cyan Netherworld realm. It's not something I can fight against. Young master, let's go. I have a flying sword given to me by the palace master. We can use it to fly out, but if I fly with you, I'm afraid my true chi can only support us for about 100 kilometers. At that time, you'll have to rely on yourself. Zhou Liuji saw the stone man's terrifying battle prowess and immediately summoned his flying sword. Pulling Yang Yuntian along, he leapt up and pierced through the darkness. But before they could soar into the air, a 1,000-meter-long vine shot out from the forest ahead as if it had a life of its own. In an instant, it wrapped around Zhou Liuji, Yang Yuntian, and the flying swords beneath their feet. Although Zhou Liuji reacted quickly and slashed at the vine with all his strength, the vine was extremely resilient. Under its painful attack, the spirit of the flying swords beneath Zhou Liuji's feet dissipated, and cracks began to appear. Damn it! Riding on the Type 4 flying sword that was riddled with cracks, Zhou Liuji managed to fly for less than 10 kilometers before falling towards the ground. Seeing the rustling sounds and the many monsters hidden in the forest, Zhou Liuji had no choice but to make a prompt decision. Young master, immediately send a message to the sect for help. That old bastard's words are most likely true. The Heaven Punishing Alliance has really invited an almighty to use the hundreds of prominent Divine Stage and Green Nether Stage monsters to destroy our Heavens Will Palace's 33-layered Heaven's Punishment formation. Once the formation is destroyed, only death awaits us. Thus, we have to wait for these monsters to gather and disperse around Heavens Will Peak before we destroy them one by one. I understand. I'll immediately send a message to my father. Quick, the message needs to be fast, the faster the better. Yang Yuntian was anxious to save his life, and at this time he hurriedly added fuel to the fire. He described the situation of the entire Heavens Will Palace, as if it was a matter of life and death. Soon, the news reached the Heavens Will Palace. After receiving the news, the Heavens Will Palace fell silent for a moment before quickly becoming alert. The 33-layered Heavens Punishment formation, which was originally maintaining the most basic operating state, was now fully activated. It turned into rings of light that rippled out, protecting the entire Heavens Will Palace. Within the Heavens Will Palace, Yang Kaigui, the prominent Divine Stage Vice Palace Master, led a few Green Nether Stage experts and a dozen Spirit Chi Unison Stage experts to rush out and rescue Yang Yuntian. Qingsu had no idea about everything that had happened in the Heavens Will Palace, but he was currently using the Wandering Spirit technique to monitor Yang Yuntian and Zhou Liuji from 30 kilometers away, so he could more or less guess what had happened. Seeing how Yang Yuntian and Zhou Liuji had already sent out the message, he immediately smiled faintly. It's time for the show of saving the young palace master Yang Yuntian. Then allow me to slightly increase the difficulty of their mission. After Tsinghui finished speaking, a few more Tier 6 phase and dozens of Tier 5 phase appeared in his hand. The spirit monsters that were enlightened by the phase were weaker than humans. If he wanted to make Yang Kaigui, a prominent Divine Stage expert, helpless, he would need at least 10 prominent Divine Stage spirit monsters. Otherwise, if he was careless, he would be able to rescue Yang Yuntian. At that time, he would not be able to achieve his goal of luring out the Heavens Will Palace's true energy realm experts. 2 hours later, Tsinghui had enlightened 10 prominent Divine Stage spirit monsters and 30 Green Nether Stage spirit monsters. He clapped his hands and said, "It's about time. Go and lay an ambush. When Yang Kaigui arrives, we will reveal ourselves and leave them there. And it's time to kill them." "Yes, master." After receiving the order, the 40 spirit monsters responded at the same time and went into the forest. Next, it is time for the real battle. I hope to lure out a few true energy realm experts. This way, there cannot be only one battlefield. Tsinghui thought in his heart and used the magic arsenal again to enlighten 20 Tier 6 phase and 40 Tier 5 phase. He created 20 prominent Divine Stage spirit monsters and 40 Green Nether Stage spirit monsters. It was also because his recovery ability had reached the 10th level, and his true chi was replenished extremely quickly. In addition, he did not place too much hope on the survival of these spiritual monsters. Otherwise, It would not have been easy to awaken so many spiritual monsters in such a short period of time. I have some small monsters, but I need a few commanders. Xing Hui looked for a moment and took out 4 Tier 8 phase. As he continued to inject his true qi, 8 true energy boundary spiritual beasts were quickly summoned by him. It took him a total of 4 hours to enlighten these spirit monsters. The qi in his body was depleted twice. It could be seen how much qi he had spent on these 8 spirit monsters. Under normal circumstances, they can survive for 10 days. In battle form, they can survive for 1 day. However, I only need you to show your faces and lure out those true energy realm experts. Once the true energy realm experts were lured out, what awaited these spirit monsters was naturally the fate of being killed. Move. Looking at the 4 true energy realm spirit monsters, Xing Hui directly waved his hand. Instantly, the 4 spirit monsters responded and quickly flew towards the sky-bearing mountain range. After these spirit monsters left, the qi in Xing Hui's body surged. In the next moment, 2 bodies that looked like Cho Xing Hui and Xing Hui from Earth quickly walked out of his body. As these 2 bodies walked out of his body, the aura of Xing Hui and Su Fei's body rapidly weakened and fell to the lowest point. Supreme Immortal Technique. 1 qi into 3 pure ones. The 2 in front of him were his incarnations. In order to ensure that the incarnations had enough strength, Xing Hui had used up all of the qi in Su Fei's body. This allowed the 2 incarnations to survive for a few days even in battle form. Of course, because these incarnations only had 30% of his original body's strength. Even if they were used in battle, they would only be equivalent to a green netherworld realm cultivator. At most, they would be able to fight against a prominent divine stage expert who had not manifested his battle physique by relying on sword intent and sword techniques. This kind of multitasking vision. Xing Hui carefully sensed the changes in his vision and had a strange expression on his face. Multitasking. However, as a supreme immortal technique, the 1 qi into 3 pure ones was not as simple as splitting one's strength into 3. Although he was multitasking, the 2 incarnations still had a certain degree of autonomy. It was as if they were a subconsciousness derived from the main consciousness. They were able to quickly complete the orders of the main body, and would not put too much of a burden on the main body's soul. This was an existence that was between an incarnation and an incarnation. No wonder it's called a supreme immortal technique. The doppelganger technique splits a part of the divine soul to create a doppelganger, which will cause great damage to the divine soul. The doppelganger technique is a way to multitask. However, the 3 pure ones in one breath neutralizes the advantages of the 2 techniques and eliminates the shortcomings of the 2 techniques, maximizing their effectiveness. It's like using a special calculation method to accelerate the logic ability of a computer, so that running 3 programs at the same time can take up almost as much resources as running one. Xing Hui adapted to the 3 people's vision and carefully examined the 2 incarnations. He said, in order to distinguish them from the main body, we'll use the numbers of the 3 pure ones. Among the 3 pure ones, the Jade Pure One is in the middle, the Grand Pure One is on the right, and the Supreme Pure One is on the left. Moreover, the Jade Pure One is at the top of the 33 heavens. Thus, the main body is the Jade Pure One Xing Hui, and the 2 incarnations are the Grand Pure One Xing Hui and the Supreme Pure One Xing Hui. Indeed. Good. The 2 incarnations nodded slightly. My main body will return to the Heavenswell Palace and wait for an opportunity. Whether or not we can occupy the Heavenswell Palace will depend on whether or not we can lure out 2 of the 3 true energy realm experts in charge of suppression, defense, and offense in the 33 layers heavenly punishment formation. With that, Xing Hui wasted no more time and leaped toward the Heavenswell Palace. Of the 2 incarnations, the Grand Pure One Xing Hui would continue to stay at Maplewood Mountain and preside over the killing of Yang Yuntian, Yang Kaigui, and the true energy realm expert Yang Xiao. Meanwhile, the Supreme Pure One Xing Hui would oversee the situation from the outside and wait for the other true energy realm experts of the Heavenswell Palace to arrive. Whether or not they could complete the Heavenswell Alliance's mission and occupy the Kongli continent would depend on today. Chapter 418. With the help of Yang Yuntian's token, Xing Hui easily returned to the Heavens Will Palace. In the end, he was just a cultivator in the mortal realm, and was not worth mentioning in anyone's mind. Yang Yuntian was being watched by more than a dozen level 5 and level 6 spiritual monsters. He could not even take care of himself, so he did not specifically mention to the Heavens Will Palace to keep an eye on Xing Hui. Therefore, his return journey could be said to be smooth. However, it was easy to enter the Heavens Will Palace's 33 levels of Heaven's Punishment formation. When he arrived at the courtyard where he lived and saw the 3 beautiful girls in the courtyard, he faintly felt a headache. Su Ying, Su Qiubai, and Su Yuyu. Among his 4 daughters, except for Su Ying, who was already married and could not make it back in time, all of them were present without exception. Moreover, they looked like they were about to be interrogated by the 3 courts. Xing Hui slightly diverted his attention to look at the personal space that he had specially opened up in the Chaos Divine Palace. There were hundreds of different kinds of paper messages in there. Good morning. Xing Hui greeted the 3 of them. Oh no! Su Qiubai, who had the worst personality, jumped out immediately. You not only secretly ran out of the Heavens Will Palace, but you actually disappeared for 5 whole days without any news. As she spoke, Su Qiubai really did not know how to reprimand him. For a moment, she felt an indescribable grievance in her heart, and could not help but burst into tears. Third sister, take a break. Su Ying stepped forward and comforted Su Qiubai. Then, she turned to Xing Hui. This time, she could not stand in a neutral position and say anything good for him. Her usually cold and elegant face had a trace of anger. Father, you've gone too far this time. All right, I have my own considerations for what I do. Xing Hui looked at the 3 girls in front of him. He understood that the 3 of them were sincerely looking out for him, or rather for the sake of this body's so-called father, Su Fei. Therefore, he did not blame the 3 of them. He just waved his hand and said, if everything goes well, you'll soon understand what I'm really doing. What you're really doing? Su Ying was slightly surprised and quickly said, Father, are you still in contact with the people of the Heaven Hunting Alliance? In fact, the higher-ups of the Heavens Will Palace are already suspicious of you. However, because of our outstanding performance, they can't investigate openly. They don't want to disappoint us disciples. However, once they find evidence of you contacting the Heaven Attacking Alliance, the consequences will be unimaginable. Heaven Punishing Alliance? The Heaven Attacking Alliance has always been a failure, so how could I contact them? You don't have to worry about that. There's no such thing. They can't get any evidence against me. Not the Heaven Attacking Alliance. Xing Hui's answer puzzled Su Ying, Su Qiubai, and Su Yuyu. But as far as I know, Father, you should be in contact with the Heaven Punishing Alliance. They're just using them. The Heaven Attacking Alliance is just a small matter. I'm afraid they won't be able to do anything to the Heaven Will Palace even after a few hundred years. Father, what are you doing? Can't you even tell us? Su Qiubai calmed down a little and stared at Xing Hui, suppressing his anger. I said that you'll know soon. If it goes well, I'll tell you everything. If it doesn't go well, it'll be useless even if I tell you. But, just as Su Qiubai was about to say something, Xing Hui raised his head slightly and looked at the peak of the Heavens Will Peak. Then he saw a rainbow light, surrounded by several other rays of light, shooting out from the peak of the mountain and disappearing into the horizon in the blink of an eye. It's one. Xing Hui had a faint smile in his eyes. Next, he only needed to lure out any true energy realm expert who controlled the attack and suppression of the 33 layers sky punishment formation. Then his plan would be declared a success. That aura has already surpassed the Vision Divine stage. Ancestor, it's an ancestor. What happened? Su Ying sensed a little and immediately widened her eyes. I don't know. Not long ago, Vice Palace Master Yang Kaigui brought a group of people and hurriedly left the Heavens Will Palace. Something big seemed to have happened. Now even the true energy realm ancestors were alarmed. As Su Qiubai said this, he seemed to have thought of something and suddenly turned to Xing Hui. Father, this shouldn't be the plan you were talking about, right? Don't think too much. In short, you just need to stay in the Heavens Will Palace. Xing Hui said. No, you have to tell us what happened. Su Qiubai said stubbornly. Dang dang. Before Tsinghui could refuse again, a bell quickly rang in the Heavens Will Palace. The sound was rather urgent. 9 rings. This is the sound that the Heavens Will Palace gathered all the disciples above the true energy realm. Could it be that something big is about to happen? Su Yuyu raised her head and said, I guess the Heavens Will Palace wants these ordinary disciples to find the whereabouts of those spiritual monsters. Then they'll gather their strength and kill those spiritual monsters one by one. Tsinghui pondered for a moment and quickly took out 3 talismans that were tainted with his aura. The 3 of you take these talismans with you. When the time comes, as long as you don't provoke those spiritual monsters, they won't take the initiative to attack you. Su Qiubai took the talismans and said in a low voice, It really is you. Father, what are you trying to do? Overthrow the Heavens Will Palace. Or do you want to become the ruler of the entire continent? If you really do that, our entire Kongli continent will inevitably be plunged into the flames of war. When that happens, the people will inevitably be plunged into misery and suffering. Don't talk to me about these grand principles. I don't like to hear it. If you think it's inappropriate, you can choose to put righteousness before family and go tell on me. Tsinghui glanced at Su Qiubai and coldly interrupted her. Father, don't be angry. I think the main reason third sister doesn't want you to participate in such a dangerous operation. Dangerous? There's no danger to me. Moreover, I don't need you to arrange my affairs. Always telling your father what to do isn't something a good daughter should do. Tsinghui said calmly to the 3 of them while sensing the 5 true energy boundary auras that had yet to leave the peak of Heavens Will Peak. Everything we do is for your own good. Why do you always refuse to appreciate it? I know that you contacted the Heaven Attacking Alliance and gave us the intelligence of the Heaven Attacking Alliance at the critical moment so that we could wipe out their strongholds. All of this was for our future. However, this is not what we want. We just want you to live a peaceful life instead of risking your own safety. Now we have all grown up and have the ability to fight for our own future. Therefore, Lin Fan's eyes were filled with shock as he stared at Lin Fan's face. Su Qiubai said emotionally, Ability? In the end, you think that I'm not capable enough so I need you to plan my future for me? No, Suing quickly explained. Suing hurriedly explained, Father, don't misunderstand. You've worked for us for most of your life. We just want you to live a more comfortable life in the future. Comfortable? Comfortable? This isn't what I need. What I really want is what I'm doing now and what I'll do in the future. No, Father. Even if you hate me in the future, I can't let you continue to mess around. Before this matter is over and Heavens Will Palace calms down, I won't allow you to leave this courtyard. Tsinghui glanced at Su Qiubai. It was probably time to tell them the truth. You can't stop me from doing what I want to do, Tsinghui said. Then we'll see. Second sister, go and tell the elders that I'm at a critical moment in my cultivation and can't participate in this gathering of disciples. After Su Qiubai finished speaking, she walked directly to a pavilion at the entrance of the courtyard and sat down in a fit of pique. She looked like she was going to watch and see how she was going to go out in the future. Father, since Heavens Will Palace hasn't been peaceful recently, you should listen to third sister and stay in Heavens Will Palace. Don't sneak out and make us worry. Suing advised earnestly. Alright, you can go. Remember, when you encounter monsters, wear the talisman on you. You're basically carrying out some reconnaissance missions. Heavens Will Palace won't let you face those monsters head-on. Therefore, as long as you don't attack those monsters, they won't take the initiative to attack you. Yes, I understand. Suing responded and pulled Su Yuyu out of the courtyard. When she reached the door, she deliberately said to Su Qiubai, Third sister, I'll leave father's safety to you. Su Qiubai nodded. Second sister, don't worry. With me here, nothing will happen. Su Ying and Su Yuyu quickly left. Tsinghui stared at the peak of Heavens Will Peak, waiting for the movements of the true energy boundary experts. 2 hours later, accompanied by another powerful aura flying through the sky, it quickly disappeared into the horizon. That's the second one. Unfortunately, this true energy boundary expert was only the one who changed the authority. Xing Hui sensed for a moment and felt a little regretful. 2 true energy boundary experts, 3 illustrious divine experts, and many green darkness boundary and unity of spirit boundary experts all attacked. Xing Hui could already feel many monsters being eliminated. It's time for a few true energy boundary monsters to appear. I hope this time, I can transfer away one of the true energy boundary experts in charge of attacking and suppressing the monsters. Xing Hui muttered to himself. On a battlefield 4,000 kilometers away from Heaven's Will Peak, 4 true energy boundary beasts charged out at the same time, instantly surrounding Yang Xiao, who was trying to save Yang Kaigui and Yang Yintian. Coupled with the support of the Type 6 and Type 5 beasts, Yang Zhao's life was in danger. As a last resort, a new talisman for help broke through the void and flew towards Heaven's Will Palace. Heaven's Will Palace was silent for a moment after receiving the news. Then a third true energy boundary figure rose into the sky. This was the true energy boundary cultivator in charge of recovery in the 33 layers Heaven's Will formation. It's still not him. Xing Hui frowned. At this time, Su Qiubai, who was watching Xing Hui from the entrance of the courtyard, seemed to have thought of something and was suddenly shocked. Are you really the one who made all this commotion? You want to lure the 6 true energy boundary experts out of the 33 layers Heaven's Will formation. Xing Hui glanced at Su Qiubai and nodded. Then I advise you to give up as soon as possible. According to what Yang Yintian mentioned when he was showing off to me, the ancestors of the Heaven's Will Palace had admonished that among the true energy boundary experts in charge of the 33-layered heavenly punishment formation, there must always be at least 3 people present at any time. As long as there are 3 people present at the same time to preside over the formation, they have sufficient confidence to protect the situation. Thus, you being able to lure out 3 true energy boundary experts is already your limit. As for the remaining 3, no matter how much trouble you cause outside, they will not act rashly. Oh, aren't they afraid that the 3 true energy boundary experts will be killed directly? According to the rules, not to mention the fact that the 3 true energy boundary experts who attacked were killed, even if the entire area outside of the sky-bearing mountain range was destroyed, the rule of having at least 3 true energy boundary experts guarding the 33-layered heavenly punishment formation cannot be broken. Chapter 419. Su Qiubai's words made Xing Hui realize the severity of the problem. The upper echelons of Heaven's Will Palace were no fools. Since they knew that the 33-layered heavenly punishment array was the foundation of their safety on the Kongli continent, why would they allow all their true energy realm experts to leave the 33-layered heavenly punishment array? Just as Su Qiubai had said, drawing out 3 true energy realm experts at the same time was already the limit. As for the remaining 3, even if everything outside the sky-bearing mountain range fell, they would not move at all. This was because as long as the 33-layered heavenly punishment array was still in place, Heaven's Will Palace's foundation would not be affected. As long as they were willing to spend resources, those experts who had been lost would eventually be nurtured again. Since that's the case, we can only act directly. Xing Hui slowly stood up and looked at the 3 still-lit towers on Heaven's Will Peak. Of the 3 towers, one was responsible for scouting and targeting, one was responsible for attacking, and one was responsible for suppressing. As long as these 3 towers were still operating, anyone who entered the range of the 33-layered heavenly punishment array would be immediately targeted. Then there would be no need to use suppressing power. The array's offensive power would be enough to kill the target on the spot. Whether the target was a true energy realm expert, a transcendent realm expert, or a never-dying realm expert, there would be no difference in the 33-layered heavenly punishment array's attack. What do you want to do? Don't act recklessly. Just stay in the courtyard until Heaven's Will Palace's matter is settled. Su Qiubai immediately became cautious when he saw Qing Su's appearance. Xing Hui smiled, and 3 Tier 10 spirit items appeared in his hand. Tier 10 spirit items were treasures that could enlighten transcendent realm spirit monsters. The appearance of these spirit items immediately attracted Su Qiubai's attention. Father, how do you have such treasures? How do you think those spirit monsters were created? Now, I'll let you see for yourself. Xinghui paused for a moment. Although the aura of demons is more obscure than that of ordinary cultivators, Haiting, who is in charge of scouting, is still in the tower of the Palace of Heaven's Will. To prevent these demons from being exposed before they are enlightened, please help me cover for them. I have several pieces of absolute grade Kongming stone, which I believe will have a significant effect in helping you condense Gang Qi. Sky stone. And it's even a peerless grade dark space stone? Su Qiubai exclaimed. The space stone was already a rank 4 treasure. A peerless space stone was comparable to a rank 6 treasure. If she could absorb and refine the energy within the space stone, she would have a 90% chance of stepping into the spirit refining realm. Father, where did you get these things? Why do you have so many precious fays? Su Qiubai found it hard to believe. You usually cultivate in the Palace of Heaven's Will. Once you come home, stay for a few days, and then leave immediately. How can you understand what I'm really doing? Xinghui said and threw the space stone to Su Qiubai. All right, quickly break through. Su Qiubai received the space stone thrown by Xinghui and hesitated for a moment. Rest assured, since I've done all these, I naturally have enough confidence. I won't joke around with the lives of our family. What you need to do now is to trust me and cooperate with me. Su Qiubai looked at the space stone in her hand, and then looked at the 3 rank 10 fays in Xinghui's hand. Biting her lips, she said, Father, if there's really any danger, you must stop immediately. Rest assured. Xinghui smiled faintly. My means cannot be measured by cultivation. A small palace of heavens will cannot stop me. I hope you're not boasting. Su Qiubai said and began to absorb the energy of the space stone, and began to break through to the spirit refining realm. As she began to break through to the spirit refining realm, her aura fluctuated and quickly attracted the attention of Haiting, who was in charge of scouting. An obscure force swept over. This force was pervasive and was like the spring wind and rain. If not for Xinghui focusing on sensing the changes in the void, he would not have been able to sense its existence. After confirming that the force had dissipated, Xinghui did not dare to delay, and quickly took out a rank 10 ice soul stone. Using the Zhenqi void technique, he tried his best to control the fluctuations of Zhenqi, and continuously injected his Zhenqi into the ice soul stone. Not long after, the ice soul appeared. It was cold and emitted a faint pressure. With the ice soul formed, Xinghui naturally did not think that it could hide for long. He immediately ordered it to attack the tower where Huang Fupeng was. What the tower shouldered was the attack power of the 33 layers of heavenly punishment formation. At the same time as the ice soul appeared, Xinghui's primordial spirit also flew out. Like a ray of light, it flew towards the tower in charge of suppressing the formation. With a slight tremor, it entered the tower. As Heaven's Will Palace was in troubled times, Sha Qinggu, who was in charge of suppressing the formation, was obviously more vigilant. He immediately appeared at the location where Xinghui entered the tower and shouted, "Who is it?" Although his vigilance was not low, he did not think that there would be such a thing as a primordial spirit in this world. Xinghui's primordial spirit passed through the tower, and quickly arrived at the top. The moment his gaze landed on the Rubik's Cube that was suppressing the formation, he activated his personal space. Xiao. The Rubik's Cube was directly stored in his personal space. Having lost the core of the formation, the radiance emanating from the pagoda instantly dimmed down, and was on the verge of vanishing. Not good. Sha Qinggu turned pale with fright and hurriedly shouted, "Enemy attack! An enemy has sneaked into Heaven's Will Peak." Immediately, Haiting, who was in charge of investigating, activated his detection power, and was about to sweep towards Sha Qinggu's tower. With the detection power of the 33 layers heaven punishment formation, Xinghui would not be able to hide even in his primordial spirit form. Fortunately, at this moment, the Ice Soul quickly released the energy waves of a transcendent realm expert. A powerful and cold aura swept out from its body, and instantly attracted the attention of everyone on Heaven's Will Peak. Instantly, there were screams and exclamations from Heaven's Will Peak. What kind of monster is this? This aura. Transcendent realm. This is a transcendent realm monster. Quick, activate the power of the formation and kill this monster. Amidst the exclamations, the detection power that was originally scanning in this direction quickly focused on the ice soul of the transcendent realm monster. At the same time, thunder roared from the top of the tower where Huang Fupeng was sitting. In the next instant, a bolt of lightning struck the ice soul's body like a divine sword from the 9 heavens. Although the ice soul was a transcendent realm monster that was adept at defense, this attack still caused it to explode in the air and almost kill it on the spot. This power, Xing Hui carefully sensed for a moment and immediately gasped. In terms of attack power, the sword radiance formed by the lightning was not inferior to the attack of an ordinary golden core realm expert. With a true energy realm master in charge of the formation, the attack unleashed was almost enough to kill a transcendent stage spiritual monster who was good at defense. From this, one could see how powerful the formation of Heaven's punishment was. Quick! I have to be quick! After putting away the Rubik's Cube that was the eye of the formation, Xing Hui suddenly rushed out of the tower like a flash of light towards the Attack Authority Tower, where Huang Fupeng was sitting. When his primordial spirit rushed out of the tower and collided with the defensive layer of the tower, Xiaqinggu naturally sensed it and immediately shouted, "No! That ice soul demon is not the culprit. There is a shadow creature here that is coveting the 33 layers heaven punishment formation of Heaven's Will Palace. Quickly kill it." Buzz buzz. After Xiaqinggu finished speaking, a wave of detection power swept across Xing Hui's body and locked onto him. This formation can actually carry out group detection, targeting, and group attacks. The moment Xing Hui's body was scanned by this wave of detection power, he already felt an indescribable sense of danger. The next moment, his primordial spirit seemed to have been forcefully split into 2. One part returned to his body, while the other part rushed towards Huang Fupeng's tower like a flash of light with no fear of death. Before he could rush into the highest tower, the thunderbolts in the formation of 33 levels of heavenly punishment had already turned into a destructive force that descended with a loud crash. In an instant, his primordial spirit was turned into dust. Half of his primordial spirit was destroyed. Xing Hui's face suddenly became extremely pale. Even though his level 10 recovery ability was continuously recovering, he still almost fainted on the spot. At this moment, the toughness of his primordial spirit that he had used the 9 heavens hurricane to train was reflected. He endured the intense pain caused by the destruction of his primordial spirit. The moment the scanning power of the 33 layers heaven punishment formation locked onto him again, the transmission spell that had already cooled down was instantly activated. Transmission spell. That's right, it was the transmission spell. The transmission spell that could send someone hundreds of millions of kilometers away in an instant. And at this moment, it was used by Xing Hui so easily. The target, it was Huang Fupeng's tower that was only several thousand kilometers away from him. Rumble. The moment Xing Hui used the transmission spell to leave, a brand new sword of lightning struck down from the 33 layers heaven punishment formation. It immediately blasted Xing Hui's courtyard into smithereens. Even Su Qiubai was accidentally sent flying by the shockwave from the explosion, interrupting his breakthrough. Seeing Xing Hui's original location being blasted into smithereens, Su Qiubai opened his eyes and was momentarily stunned on the spot. Rumble. Almost at the same time, a huge rumble rang out from Huang Fupeng's tower. Immediately afterwards, a vast and imposing aura mixed with a domineering and blazing wave of heat swept out, almost destroying the sturdy tower. Since the tower was part of the formation, it was not destroyed by the sudden eruption of the heat wave. However, the light pillar from the top of the tower that represented the attacking power of the 33 layers heaven punishment formation, that shot straight into the clouds quickly dimmed just like the suppressing light pillar from before. The suppressing and attacking power of the 33 layers heaven punishment formation had been completely broken. Before I start the update, I would like to ask for a wave of votes. Please support me. Chapter 420. It ends here. With the most threatening attack and suppression powers of the 33-layered heavenly punishment formation broken, Xing Hui no longer had any misgivings. With a long roar, the golden crow divine body blossomed with endless divine light, and a resplendent eternal star directly suppressed Huang Fupeng, a true energy boundary expert, and exploded. Rumble. Endless light and heat waves formed a visible shockwave that whistled out from the windows and doors of the tower, as if it was a giant dragon spitting flames. But the tower itself did not suffer too much damage. Flowing light shot out from a figure. It was Huang Fupeng, who had relied on the defensive treasure bestowed by the Black Sky Downlord to survive the explosion of the resplendent eternal star. The enemy is here. Huang Fupeng, who had rushed out of the tower with great difficulty, only had time to let out a cry of alarm before a resplendent sword light shot out from the tower. No! Huang Fupeng, whose flowing light had already dimmed by a large amount, felt the tyrannical destructive power contained in the sword light, and immediately let out a cry of despair. Sun glory! The sword light hit its target, bursting with endless flames that once again filled the void. Countless courtyards that had been built in the later stages of the 33-layered heavenly punishment formation were directly reduced to ashes under the impact of this explosive power. This voice, Su Qiubai, who was only a few thousand meters away from the peak of the mountain, was still in a state of shock. When she heard the two words sun glory, she suddenly raised her head and looked towards the peak of the heavens will peak. She saw Tsing Hui's figure rushing out of the endless flames like a great sun true god. Rolling heat waves burned around him, emitting a power that could destroy the heavens and extinguish the earth. As for one of the 6 true energy boundary experts of the Heavens Will Palace, Elder Huang Fupeng, who was so powerful that he was undefeatable, he had been completely engulfed by the flames under the slash of his sword. It was unknown whether he was still alive or not. This scene almost overturned her understanding of Tsing Hui. She, who had just awoken from her shock, saw this scene and her mind went blank. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! Mournful voices echoed from the peak of the Heavens Will Peak. Countless elders of the Divine Energy Unity Realm and Green Netherworld Realm guarding the Heavens Will Palace screamed as they fled from the energy shockwave formed by the explosion of the sun glory. Further away, many Divine Energy Unity Realm and Green Netherworld Realm experts, living outside the Heavens Will Peak rushed over. Flames burned above the Heavens Will Peak. The peak looked like the end of the world. Elder Huang Fupeng. At the peak of the Heavens Will Peak, Sha Qinggu's face was filled with shock and anger when he saw this scene. He looked at Tsing Hui as if he wanted to swallow him alive. Elder Huang Fupeng is the descendant of the Dark Heaven Tao Lord of the Heavenly Tao. You dare to kill him, you dare to kill him? However, Tsing Hui, who had rushed out of the tower, did not even look at Sha Qinggu. The flaming wings of the gold crow body behind him flapped, and he rushed out with a mighty flame, directly into the other 3 towers that were not guarded by true Energy Realm experts. Although there were 1 or 2 Green Netherworld Realm and Divine Energy Unity Realm disciples in those towers, how could they stop Tsing Hui, who had the power of the gold crow body, and the endless power of the great sun true fire? The moment he rushed in, flames swept out, and all resistance in the tower was burned to ashes. In less than 2 breaths, the tower that Tsing Hui had rushed into, which was in charge of the defense, completely dimmed. In just a dozen breaths of time, 3 of the 33 layers of Heaven's punishment formation had collapsed. Stop! Seeing that 3 of the 6 light pillars on top of the towers had been extinguished, Sha Qinggu let out a furious roar. He took out a 10th level spear, which pierced through the sky and shot towards Tsing Hui with a bone-piercing killing intent. Bang! Before this long spear could hit its target, the gold crow body behind Tsing Hui had already turned around abruptly and slapped the long spear to the side with a tearing claw. Although a large part of the claw of the gold crow body had been shattered by the tremendous rebounding force and the explosive force caused by the collision of the 2 weapons, the gold crow body only needed a few breaths of time to completely recover from this injury. Those who stand in my way shall die. Tsing Hui let out a deep roar. The gold crow body clawed at the air again, and a huge flaming sword with a destructive aura formed in the air again. Sha Qinggu saw with his own eyes that this destructive sword had killed Huang Fupeng, who was protected by a 10th level armor. He was so scared that his soul almost left his body, and he quickly retreated. But even so, this sword of the sun glory still shot out at an incredible speed, and when it hit his body, it exploded in the next second. In an instant, A huge fireball rose from the summit of Heavenswell Peak, which was shrouded in countless formations. The dazzling light almost blinded the elders who were rushing over from the surrounding peaks. He wants to destroy the 33 layers of Heaven's punishment formation of our Heavenswell Palace. Stop him, stop him, stop him quickly. In the endless light, the furious roar of Hai Ting, the only remaining true energy boundary expert on Heavenswell Peak, could be heard. In just a few moments, 5 of the 6 towers of the 33 layers of Heaven's punishment formation had been extinguished at the same time, and only the tower that Hai Ting was guarding was left. It was hard to guard against a thief in one's own home. Originally, the 33 layers of Heaven's punishment formation of Heavenswell Palace should not have been so weak even if no one was controlling it. However, this formation was set up to deal with intruders, so it did not have much of a deterrent effect on the cultivators inside the formation. If Tsinghui was outside the formation, even if the pillars of light of the 6 towers were all dimmed, just the energy shield above the sky-bearing mountain range alone would be enough for a golden core expert to attack for 3 to 5 days. However, at this moment, Tsinghui was inside the formation, and the power of the 33 layers of Heaven's punishment formation was less than 10%. Furthermore, Tsinghui had mobilized half of the true energy boundary experts, so the formation was easily destroyed from the inside. Heavenswell Palace's rule over the Kongli continent ends here. Tsinghui's indifferent voice sounded from the sky above the Heavenswell Peak. In the next moment, Hai Ting, who had charged out from the tower, was completely destroyed by Tsinghui's Golden Crow divine body. His battle physique, divine weapon, and armor were all burned to ashes by the great sun true fire of the Golden Crow divine body. Such a shocking scene caused all the elders who had sensed the intruders to rush over to the Heavenswell Peak to turn pale. All of them stood rooted to the ground, not daring to make any rash moves. Prominent domain. Furthermore, it was a prominent domain expert with a divine grade battle physique. This kind of strength was not something that the Heavenswell Palace, which only had a few spirit and chi as 1 stage and green netherworld stage cultivators, could defend against. Xiao. Just as everyone was shocked and did not dare to move, a prominent domain expert turned into a streak of light and flew out of the sky-bearing mountain range at his fastest speed, trying to escape from the range of the Heavenswell Palace. However, before he could fly far away, the flowing fire sword turned into a sword light that was hard to catch with the naked eye and whizzed past the body of this prominent domain expert. Just as this prominent domain expert was in pain and wanted to reveal his battle physique, Tsinghui's original body had already crossed the distance between the two of them. The Golden Crow divine physique carried an unstoppable might as it grabbed onto the battle physique that the prominent domain expert had manifested. The great sun true fire was unleashed as it directly shattered the battle physique. With his battle physique shattered, the prominent domain expert let out a painful cry. He forcefully focused his mind and shouted, "Who are you, to actually dare to interfere with the matters of our Heavenswell Palace? Our Heavenswell Palace is backed by the Heavenly Tao, the #1 organization in the Chaos Temple. If you dare to act against our Heavenswell Palace, the Heavenly Tao will definitely not let you off." Heavenly Tao? I am dealing with the Heavenly Tao. You dare to claim that the Heavenly Tao is the #1 organization in the Chaos Temple? Did you ask the Divine Wilderness and Eternal if they agreed? Divine Wilderness Eternal? The prominent domain expert seemed to have thought of something as his eyes opened wide. You are someone from the Divine Wilderness and Eternal? You actually dare to touch the Kongli continent? Go to hell and ask for more details. Qingsu's Golden Crow physique suddenly pressed down, and the Grand Sun True Fire surged out. With a shrill cry, the Vision Holiness expert was burned to ashes on the spot. Palace Master was actually killed. Huangfu Peng, Haiting, and Shaqinggu, the 3 great elders, were all killed by him. Our Heavenswell Palace's upper echelon that was left behind here were all wiped out. Eternal and Divine Wilderness? These are the 2 peak organizations that competed with the Heavenswell Palace's Heavenly Tao for the Kongli continent 600 years ago. In this kind of competition between organizations, us small characters do not have any power to resist at all. We are willing to submit to this Lord from the primal chaos divine palace, and take Lord as the new palace master of the Kongli continent. When the remaining elders saw how Qing Su had slain the palace lord, who was at the Vision Saint realm, without being able to put up any resistance, they all fell silent. Coupled with the fact that they had more or less heard about the strength of the eternal and divine wilderness, they treated Qing Su as a great figure from these two peak organizations, so they immediately submitted to him. All right, I will only take the evil leader. In the future, Heaven's Will Palace will still need your help. Thus you only need to do your part well. I will not be ruthless. Xing Hui glanced at the Spirit Qi Unity realm, and the few Qingming realm elders and said calmly. He was too lazy to kill these cultivators one by one. Many thanks for Senior's mercy. Summon all the stewards. Go to Chengda Hall at the foot of the peak and wait for orders. Yes. Sha at this moment, a figure rushed up from the bottom of Heaven's Will Peak. It was Su Qiubai who was in seclusion trying to break through to the spirit refining realm. Her pretty little face was covered in disbelief as she gazed at Qing Su. Quite some time passed before she hurriedly asked, Are you my father or not? Yes and no. Xing Hui said to Su Qiubai, I will let your father explain to you when the time comes. But for now, call your second sister and fourth sister over. I have something to instruct them. Su Qiubai looked at Xing Hui. Although she dared to talk back to Xing Hui previously, after witnessing how Xing Hui killed the 3 true energy realm experts of her Heaven's Will Palace, as well as the prominent domain expert Huang Fu, she did not dare to be as casual as before. Yes. Su Qiubai hurriedly turned around and rushed towards the Sky-Bearing Plaza. The Sky-Bearing Plaza was the entrance to Heaven's Will Palace. It was about 100 kilometers away from Heaven's Will Peak. Just now, when the bell rang to gather the disciples, the final gathering point was in the Sky-Bearing Plaza. With Su Qiubai's departure, Qing Su flipped his hand again, and 2 Class 10 spiritual objects, 3 Class 9 spiritual objects, and 4 Class 8 spiritual objects appeared in his hand. Afterwards, he quickly channeled true Qi into them, and 2 hours later, 2 transformative realm spiritual objects and 7 true energy realm spiritual objects had been summoned by him. Under his orders, they moved towards the 4 towers that were responsible for attacking, scouting, suppressing, and defending. He had to take control of Heaven's Will Palace as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.